Welcome to the first episode of Backseat Friends, a podcast about current events, random tangents, and pictures. This is the first episode, so the start is a little bit shaky, but stick with it. It does get better as we get more comfortable. But this is essentially what me and my friends do in Discord, is just chat random nonsense, and we decided this time just to record it and stick it on YouTube. So I will inevitably forget to leave any links in the description, but I will try to remember. Stick around, hope you enjoy it. Hello world, if OBS is actually working. We've had about 1,000 setbacks, but this is the first episode of Backseat Friends. You may be wondering why there's an AR-15 covering the Discord channel, but it's here for a reason. It's to protect the privacy of our members of this Discord server, which I think we can all attest to is what an AR-15 should be used for, right? Would you agree, guys?
Sure, why not?
Let's go with that.
We're just acting like Americans for the first episode, so it is, yeah. But, do you want to introduce yourself, guys? We'll go top to bottom and start with Scruffy.
Hi, I'm Ruffy.
And the Celt?
Hey up, guys, I'm Red Celt, and I'm just a red guy. Yeah,
Sure.
I have no idea what I'm
do
supposed
you
to
want
say.
do you want to go to the hospital with that redness you've got there then?
Oh, well, you
Because I
know.
feel like that's a problem. But I don't
You'll be
know.
alright.
Anyway, Wakey?
Communist Celt.
I really wish I'd practiced this one beforehand.
I think we all did.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Would've
fine.
done some
It's
good.
fine. Edit in post-production,
This is
obviously, yeah. It's what non-existent editing software
Fix it in
for.
post.
Yeah, fix it in post, yeah. So who are you then?
Been asking myself that question a lot lately.
Have you? Interesting. These are a bunch of my friends from university. You may also be wondering why the hell there's a video going up on this channel. Is because, you know, we got bored, we started shit talking in Discord, and was like, yeah, let's start a podcast. This is
As
gonna.
you do.
I mean, as you do, yeah. So we picked out a few topics from the last few days, which we have become very, 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 very apparent that they become old news, because that's just how the news works these days. So let's start off with about the most recent thing we could find on the internet, and the main reason why there's an AR-15 covering the privacy of our users of this Discord, and that is that there's an acid attack in the UK, and you know we wanted to talk about the difference between violence in the UK and violence in the US. And I think Ruffy's mic's going a bit crazy.
No, it's because my fan sometimes when makes it go off.
Giving us an example of that.
Right. So, violence in the UK. So today, I think it was, there was a news article of a 3-year-old child being attacked with acid. Where did you say it was, Wakey? You actually you looked into this a little bit more than I did.
It was Worcester?
You're
Not
saying-
actually certain how to pronounce that name.
Worcester.
Worcester? Is that how you
Worcester,
pronounce
even.
that?
I can't even say it now. Worcester.
Worcester.
Wait, it's... Oh, fuck, it's Worcester.
Bloody hell, you're worse than Americans.
Oh, I'm fucking about it.
Do you associate with the AR-15 that we've got here? Like, does this AR-15 speak to you on a spiritual level? Is that how American you are?
Oh yeah, I'm so American.
So, we mainly want to talk about how there's been a, quite frankly, terrifying amount of acid attacks in the UK recently. And I'm impressed that it's in Worcester. Like, to be honest, I expected London.
Yeah, you always think London when you hear random act of violence.
Yeah, like, it's kind of strange for it to be somewhere else, but is this, do you think, a growing trend that we're going to have to be getting used to? Like, just randomly carrying anti-acids for, like, things other than food? Like, or...
For one, I'm not sure that's how anti-acid works, but don't quote me on that one.
Boys, I'm a chemist, just trust me, alright?
Well, I mean, you got to remember, right? terrorist attacks are part and parcel
Mm.
The
of
thing
living in a
is-
city.
Should they be though?
Oh yeah, no, it shouldn't be. I know it's just a very poorly worded statement that, as I'm quoting Sadiq Khan.
Oh, see, I don't really like Sadiq Khan. I think,
Uh,
so as I don't generally follow him.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
it was
I think I
something
follow
said
him
a
on
while
Twitter
ago.
and just occasionally like just mock him. That's about it.
I mean, what else is Twitter?
What, mocking Sadiq Khan?
Okay, maybe not him specifically, but
I think it's just any political figure really. I think that's just how Twitter works, isn't it? It's like you got to call people out on the bullshit, you know.
come on.
That's just how it is. But yeah, so what we've seen in America is a rampant increase in the massive number of mass shootings. So we wanted to compare and contrast the two countries, because Britain often gets a pass. We're often like, oh, we don't have mass shootings. It's like, no, we have mass bathing in acid instead. Or van attacks. Or anything really, don't we? That's just,
No, over here it's more sort of a whatever you can get your hands on.
yeah, it's like rent a car or something, just like,
Gonna say that's basically the same thing that happens in America, though. It's just that in America, people can easily get their hands on guns.
so you think it's access to guns?
AR-15s.
You think it's access to guns that causes mass shootings?
Probably, because
Probably a whole bunch of reasons.
if it
Like,
wasn't guns, then people would probably go for something else if they were going to do it.
Mm.
American society, though, is just geared towards
See, that's
mass
where,
probably the biggest like
and our
differentiating
society's
fact.
that's where my logic behind it is. I think it's more American society's view of how guns are. I think they're a very pro gun society, whereas in England, let's face it, getting a gun in England is probably about as difficult as it is in America. Maybe a little bit more so. There was I think it was a video I was watching by BBC, where it was showing how gun store owners have to actually care about their customers a little bit. If you get what I mean, like they've got to make sure they personally would be happy selling to them. A bit like when you go into a bar and they say like challenge 21, but like challenge the sanity of the shooter kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've never been to an American gun shop, and I've never been to a British gun shop, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the differences, the nuances of them and stuff. But I kind of get the feeling that gun shops in America are way more like there's more of them, so I feel like they don't do that. I think it's mass market like shopping
Yeah.
for weapons.
There's
So I think it could be a combination of the access to them, but I think access to guns has come from a very pro-gun society. And
yeah,
I
like
think,
you see it a lot with like American media and stuff. They're very much a big fan of this idea of, you know, ooh, what if there was a good guy with a gun as well? Maybe that would solve the problem.
I think that the one I saw recently was, I think it was Sacha Baron Cohen, was, what if we armed, was it toddlers with guns or something?
What?
What if we teach toddlers to shoot with toddlers with guns? And you got like a Republican to agree with this. Just Ryan, your mic's going a bit crazy.
Oh.
Right, there we go. Has that fixed it? A
Hope
little-
so.
I think so. Maybe a little bit. No, it's
Yeah.
not. No, I can still hear myself. Alright. We will resume the shooting talk soon. I can still hear myself vaguely, but not.
I think it's
I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Aren't we? But, yeah,
it's not your mic. It's
Alright. Is it my mic or is it right now?
Oh.
if you watch the
probably
Discord, he's
Discord.
flashing up green whenever someone else.
Alright, I see. Right.
Right, got an idea.
Better?
Has that fixed it?
Maybe.
I think so.
I think we fixed it. Right, sound. So
Yay!
how to fix Discord, kick people and add them back.
Yeah.
I mean, so I had to fix
turn it
OBS,
on.
just kick off the graphics card and tell it to load on CPU, because apparently NVIDIA isn't supported. But hey ho. Yes, but you were saying before we were setting up this stream how you think I say stream, it's just gonna be recorded, isn't it? But you were saying how you think if Americans didn't have access to guns, that there'd just be another way. They'd just use something else. What do you think? Do you think they go to acid attacks and car attacks instead?
I don't know, really. I mean, when it comes to something like a school shooting,
It's a bit hard to drive a
you
car
might
into
get
school, isn't it?
the kind of people that you get would probably go for a knife or something, but I mean, I think there probably would be less of an incentive for people to just kind of go out and, people that have obviously clear mental issues,
Yeah.
that need to be medically addressed. But access to something that's so easy to take someone out with, and not even have to see them die, essentially, which is what a gun is at the end of the day.
Yeah. But the way I see it is, you get a car license, right, here in the UK, and that's all you can drive. A car and a moped, that's about it, right? You can't get a car license and all of a sudden start driving a lorry, can you?
No.
So why is there not that kind of system in America? Because there is in the UK for guns. You can't get a shotgun license and start shooting a rifle.
Like I say, I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely think that there needs to be gun regulation in the US. But I mean, the thing is, I find their laws are probably, again, like you, I haven't really been to America. I don't know exactly how easy or difficult it is to get.
I've been to America, but I went to New York. It's very much. I don't know. It didn't feel like the gun-toting America that we see in the news.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, America is really big.
It's just different countries all combined, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It
I think it's more in the flyover central states in the Bible Belt where the gun crime's really the big issue. Mainly because the police are spread so thin a lot of the time. So you can do a crime and be away from it before anyone can respond.
Aren't they blaming something like this here in the UK though? Where the police are spread thin. But
the issue here is that it's a case that we've just been losing police members constantly over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah, but when Sadiq Khan puts forward a large initiative to stop hate crime online, is it any surprise police are working?
Just overall police funding has been cut substantially.
Yeah,
it does come down to a funding issue here.
Is it also a misappropriation of current funds?
It potentially is, yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely make an argument for that.
I personally feel like going on Twitter is not something that the police should be doing in their their day-to-day lives as a police officer to make sure that people aren't being racist and whatnot.
Oh no! If anything, they should be putting more pressure on Twitter to regulate its own users' content.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be an external party's issue.
See, I'm very pro-speech. I'm very pro-freedom of speech. So I think Twitter shouldn't really have to regulate anything, but they are a private company, and it is their right to regulate what people say.
Well, at the end of the day, though, the thing is, it's when people are trying to, instigate hate, it can come from, say, of course, the classic example would be let's rephrase this a bit. When you get basically something like the EDL, who are encouraging people to go out and just attack Muslims on the street, it's basically the same as having, say, ISIS recruitment saying, oh yeah, go and attack white people on the streets of Europe. So obviously, the idea there is to try and stop these people from spreading messages of encouragement of, racial violence, essentially, be it one way or another. But, does it need the amount? I don't know what the figures are for how much is being spent by the police on this.
Give me a tick, I'll just find that one out, actually.
Because of course, freedom of speech is one thing, but, when you're spreading basically lies just to try and encourage people to start a fight with someone based off of something quite arbitrary, like their religion or their colour. Obviously, it's something you need to stop.
Right, so you want numbers for, what was it? Police funding. Police spending.
Well, the thing is, you can try and find something, but it depends on the county as well.
According to a
So,
quick Google, it 5 specially trained police officers and cost about 1.7 million over 2 years.
Oof. Christ.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird though. Don't the UK have like one of the lowest tax rates as well? Right. We're one of them weird socialist countries that has a low tax rate.
where do you? They were
Which I think
socialist
of it
because they
seems
had
a
low tax
slightly
rate.
contradictory statement.
No, we have like a high personal
most
tax rate. We
social-
have a low business tax rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you just say that was socialist?
I mean, we
Like-
have an NHS. Like we have the National Health Service. We have a nationalised
Yeah.
rail
Oh,
service.
I get where you're coming from
Yeah.
now.
We have a semi-nationalised rail service, like in specific areas.
Well, I mean, it's more that the lines are owned by the state and
Yeah.
the trains, the
Yeah.
things
Well,
that
that's,
make
I
the
think
money
that's
are
how
run by
America
companies.
is, isn't it? Like Amtrak only owns like was it 2.5% of the US rails or something?
Yeah,
The
but
rest of it's owned
Americans
by
freak
states.
out when you mention the word social, so or nationalised or
Like, don't get me wrong, we aren't socialist in the level like Finland is,
oh no.
but I don't know.
I mean, Finland isn't even socialist. I mean, it's social democratic.
Is it?
Yeah,
See,
yeah. I
okay,
mean,
so just for full disclosure here, like I do chemistry, Ryan does politics or
oh yeah,
whatever.
I probably should have mentioned on the introduction. I am
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah, you're the only person here that has a really valid opinion, but you know.
I mean, then again, he identifies as communist, so
Well, is that more of a joke?
I think it is. I think it is a bit of a joke.
I can't really let all my secrets fly, though, can I?
Oh, of course, gotta have that
No,
air.
it's-
I mean, it's apparently red.
Sorry.
Like, I mean, I've not seen him in months, so he might actually be red.
Well, I mean,
he's just had his
you've seen
skin
what the weather's
dyed
been like
colour.
here
Oh,
recently.
then again, we
Yeah.
do live in the UK now. He could actually be red.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had a heat wave since what? Last month.
Oh, I know. Longest month of my life, that.
Yeah. See, I feel like we shouldn't really be talking about a heat wave when we're talking about America, considering they have
Oh,
Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, I
Anyway.
think Arizona is so hot that like it just doesn't rain, like ever.
Yeah, but they've also got like Fahrenheit or whatever, so their temperatures are fake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
We're going to say they always talk about how it's 120 degrees, and you're like, what?
I could boil water on that.
100 degrees, guys. Let's evacuate there. Fahrenheit. Oh, wait, so it's like
fine.
28.
I haven't a clue. I mean,
Yeah.
in chemistry we'll deal with like Celsius and Kelvin, so Fahrenheit
You know.
doesn't seem to even touch us, like, because why would it? It doesn't make sense. Like, I think was it Fahrenheit is like an exponential change in temperature or something.
I don't know, isn't it supposed to be based sort of around human body temperature or some
Oh, I haven't a
bullshit
clue.
like that?
I think it's like the Liverpool state of human computer like that.
Right.
I like how we've already gone off topic.
Look, man, don't know why you expect us not to.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean,
We're only 17 minutes into the recording, and like we've already only done one, right? You know what I mean?
well, we lasted quite well, didn't we?
I mean, I'm
Right.
somewhat impressed. Yeah. So
Yes,
back to it.
but-
So
yeah.
we don't want Americans turning red, but we also don't want the streets turning red. I think would be fair to say for this one. So how would you propose like change to American gun culture and gun law? Like now, no Americans can stop you talking.
I mean, I'd just suggest, just bring in even just basic kind of control regulations that
Like what?
would say, well, just kind of background, like,
Yeah, I mean, isn't there supposed
rigorous
to be like a
background
registry of
checks
gun users,
are
but
actually
like they're not allowed to
involved.
properly use it?
Well, I
Yeah.
think what it is they have background checks, but you're also allowed to do like private sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to have someone who's like an American gun owner like clear this up, and like I'd welcome anyone in the
I'm gonna
comments
say-
to
If,
clear
if,
this
if
up for us.
private sales work as,
So
I don't know, people on Twitter have led me to believe,
in
like,
the UK,
they're a real
private
issue.
sales can work two ways. You can either inherit a gun, or you can be sold it. Either way, you have to tell the police that there's been a change of hands for the gun, and then the police will do the appropriate background checks. And if oh look, this person's gone on a killing spree before, they come and take the gun off you. Like, as far as I'm aware, that's how it works in the UK. But in America, from what I know, you could just give it to a member of your family and go, here, have my gun. And you don't have to mention it to anyone. Do you think that's potentially an issue? If that's true, I mean, I don't. I'm guessing at this point.
And it certainly really provides an issue for the police, make sure they know who's got access to weapons.
But how would you do that in a country the size of America? Let's not forget that America is so thin on the ground in terms of emergency services that it is entirely possible that you'll be left on hold when calling 911.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to come down to the state powers rather than the bloody Americans. The states in the sense of the states and not the state as in the government. But, the state government. Oh, I hate America sometimes. So the state in the form of the American states, the governments of those states then need, it should fall to them rather than to the federal government.
So you would prefer a states individually to make changes over a federal change?
Well, it's more like they need to be the ones. I mean, they need to be resourced to really regulate it. And at the end of the day, there's the culture, especially in the Central Americans, in the center states, from what I can tell of. Well, it's essentially just redneck police. Where they are a lot more lax than perhaps they should be in a Western state.
So, so to me, changing the American gun law, I think it should be a federal. I don't think doing it state by state would work. I think because, like we said,
I mean, the overall law, the overall law should come from the federal.
But in terms of it, I think what they should do federally is, I mean, just stop me and change random bits if you disagree. I think they should go to a more sort of driving license style gun system. So you can only get like rifles under one license, shotguns under another, and you have to take tests to enable extra parts of your license. I think I've said this before in a YouTube comment before, if anyone's actually paying attention to any of my YouTube comments. I doubt it, but hey ho.
No, I'm sorry.
We'll give you that scroll for your history.
I mean, I've probably got that random stalker ever now. It's just like, oh, I remember this. I knew this before it was cool. But yeah, so I think they should do it like that. So you've got to take tests to enable specific parts of your license. So you can't just go to a shop and say, okay, I want a handgun. And they look at your license and go, oh, but you've only got the license for a rifle. Oh, so what? Here's the handgun.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it should be a more sort of, I don't know how to define it, staged license, would you say? The best way to describe it?
And I've got to say, as someone who's failed their driving test, 3 times now, tests like this are great at stopping people that really shouldn't be allowed to have things from having them.
So if it makes you feel any better, I passed mine on my 4th, and I don't think I've driven since I was working back before I started uni. So it's like I haven't driven a car in 3 years.
I just want to pass it before my theory runs out. 2-year deadline coming up.
That's another one. Would you suggest that they have a theory section to it, like go full anglicised on their licensing?
I mean, given the amount of shit I've seen online of just dangerous gun usage in general, it might be beneficial.
So what would you say a question could be? Bobby has an AR-15. How would Bobby correctly secure this AR-15 without it going off?
I really do think you're making sure people know the sort of information to be expected to know to be able to safely operate.
I'm in agreement. I think that they should have a theory test, but I think it should be stupid safety stuff that people get wrong.
Yeah.
In the UK, I'm going to keep going back to it because, we're British, kind of know.
Yeah, talk about what you know.
It's a smaller country, it's a bit easier to learn. We don't have to go down to state levels and whatnot. For the most part, county law is just who gets fined with what, isn't it? It's I think one of the random ones is Doncaster County Council fines people for spitting, whereas certain other places don't. That's how county law in the UK works. That's about it. But
Let's not forget Sheffield banning Donald Trump from going there because he's a waste man.
Oh, for God's sake, you're kidding.
Oh no, the mayor
I didn't
of
see that.
I think it was Sheffield. The mayor, like, it's a bit of a joke mayor. He doesn't give any shits, and he's normally wearing a big sombrero or something. He's just there like, I hereby declare that Donald Trump is forbidden from coming to the city of Sheffield because he is a waste man.
How elegant. But yeah, no, so I think random security and safety checks through a theory could be better. So, you take a theory, it looks over how you deal with gun safety. So, back to the original point, here in the UK, if you want a gun, you have to have your gun and ammunition stored separately, from what I remember. I don't think you do in America.
I'm gonna say,
Well,
I feel like it's not separately.
that you'd get a lot of issues.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
ammunition has
Not
to be
in
stored in an
use, they have to be
outside
stored
wall.
in a safe.
Yeah, has to be stored in an outside wall ammunition. That's about all I know, just in case it explodes, it doesn't, like, take a house down.
I mean, the problem is you got a lot of people in America are very much focused on this whole sort of, like, protecting against home invasion stuff, reason for having guns.
Okay, look,
Which does provide a bit of friction against the idea of a lot of, like, ideas like we have here with Origin.
I think it's a stupid idea. There was a study done by, I think it was the British Army, where like they found something along the lines of either 5% or 0.5% of people could shoot to kill. So like having a gun for home defense is kind of pointless.
I mean, yeah,
because you're not going to be able to shoot the person.
What is it? Either it's stored so unsafely that you're at serious risk of injuring yourself or others, or it's stored so securely that it's useless in a serious situation.
Yeah, like
it's never practical.
Yeah, and I think the best one, I was watching a DEathCom, which is like a hackers convention type thing where they look at security of both networks and physical hardware and stuff. They were investigating gun safes, and like there was one where it was like biometrically secured gun safe, like a pistol case. I'll see if I can find the video and link it in the description. But the pistol went in, and you locked it through your thumbprint. The problem was there was a gap in the case because of how I think it was something like the case was like wasn't structurally sound without this gap or something like that. But you could fit a bobby pin through the centre of that and reset.
Right?
Kyle's gone.
No,
He's gone.
I can hear you.
I think we've lost Adam as well.
No, it's fine. I'm having an RTC disconnect. Bear with me, guys. Technical difficulties. I have brilliant internet. I wonder if I've disconnected from the router.
Well, you can edit that out later.
Haha, you say that.
Now just get Windows Movie Maker.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, get that movie maker to fix the problem.
Get the free version.
I think the idea of a podcast is like this like unedited crap, though, isn't it? To be honest.
Oh yeah, probably, but no one can tell.
So what was I saying? Yeah, so you could fit a bobby pin down through the inside of this case, and reset the biometric pin. So like anyone could open it just by putting the thumb on it, and just pressing into the reset button. So like it was one of the things that's like it sounds secure, but it's practically not. So I don't know. It's weird. Like you say, you're either going to have it in such a situation where it's so secure that it's not going to be practical for home defense, or it's so insecure that you're more likely to injure yourself on a day-to-day basis. I think the only place in the UK that you're allowed to own a pistol for personal defense, like being a reason, is Ireland, which historically makes some sense. With like the IRA and stuff, but even still, the reason pistols are banned in the UK is we had a mass shooting back in. Was this the one in like the 80s or was that before? I can't remember. But either way,
I think you're thinking of Dunblane, where the immediate reaction was to just. That might have been a rifle. I can't remember, but the immediate action was.
Dunblane was a rifle because that was the one where Thatcher just went ban, 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 ban.
Yeah.
It's deemed nowadays to be a complete overreaction.
But yeah, I don't know, which is weird.
Essentially, we had mass shooting with a pistol, and we just banned them instantly. So much so that if you want to be an Olympic shooter, like in pistols, they have to go to France. From what I remember, I don't know if this was like some some ultra right-wing media source that I might have read this from who was like pro-gun, or if it could have been either side. To be fair, I'm willing to be wrong on that one, just for the sake of holy crap, that sounds insane.
You could say. I mean, at the end of the day,
because like, if you look through my
quite blunt.
subscribers on YouTube, I do follow like every media source under the sun. Like, just because you should never get your news stories from one source, right? You should always see what the batshit insane are saying, right? Like, I'm one of the guys who like follows Donald Trump on Twitter, as well as like, I don't know, name like his liberal equivalent.
Bernie Sanders?
I'm not sure I follow Bernie.
Yeah, it's not just things he ever had to a rival mate.
Actually, wait, it's not
I
even.
think I follow
There's not
Hillary
even Bernie anymore. There's Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, is that another person I need to be following then?
Ocasio-Cortez, she recently got elected as, I think, as a House representative, and you know she's probably more left-wing than the average.
Oh, is that young one that's making news recently?
Probably, yeah, quite young.
Well,
I think she's like Mexican background.
Ocasio-Cortez in like the
Fox
calculator.
News thinks she's a communist. Fox News, of course, is calling her a communist for wanting.
Oh, yeah, is that one? Yeah, okay.
And
Yeah, I think I was something about it on Tumblr at one point.
I keep forgetting you use Tumblr.
Look, man, I'm on it. I've been on it too long now. I can't quit now. I don't know what I do with most of my day.
Are you saying you have actual addictive symptoms to Tumblr?
Look, I need my steady inflow of content.
Go on YouTube.
I run out of subscriptions. I just run out of YouTube. I need this never-ending flow of randos.
oh, you can always follow Kyle Cross.
Oh boy, yeah, best. Oh my
Mate,
god.
your last video was your last video was the second part of a 3-part series a year
I know,
ago.
right? It was amazing. So Adam has just shared through the Discord a lovely section. Oh yeah, OBS. That's just amazing, isn't it? That's not what I actually wanted to copy, is it? It's this one that Adam has just shared.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
Adam has just
good
shared
old-
this lovely picture of what is a gun safe, right?
It's wooden.
Yeah, a wooden gun safe. You gotta love them American
Right.
size. I mean, that is.
I'm guessing this is American.
Don't get me wrong. I actually quite like that from an aesthetic point of view, right?
It's like aesthetically, yeah, but ergonomically, that can't be convenient to use.
No, I don't think it is.
Like, from where, if that's a headboard as well, like,
Yeah,
fucking,
Oh god, yeah, you're right. Yeah, actually, it is. Yeah, it's a bed.
Yeah,
just the constant feeling that's going to just come down on your head.
Right. So
I
have you
think
ever
it's
seen
supposed to be
American?
hidden rather than.
Okay, so have you ever seen American like in the Bible Belt with broken nose? We know why. It's clearly got this installed at home. I'm just gonna leave.
Oh,
this.
have you seen the one? Have you seen the one in the related images going full in? The American flag opens up to be one of those things.
Oh my god.
Just, that is peak.
It's just, I don't know. It's American culture has a very. It's just pro-gun, isn't it? Like.
I'm just going through these images now that he's like, it's like a redneck version of the whole hidden furniture.
Then again, I suppose one of the main issues though of America is that the gun lobby, like the NRA, even.
NRA, yeah, not the IRA.
Oh,
A different issue
Yeah.
there.
No. Then again,
The
they both have
NRA.
mortars. They both
Wait,
have
what?
mortars.
There are more.
I'm talking about the mortar attack.
Yeah, but the NRA has their government stranglehold. The IRA couldn't even kill.
Yeah. Anyway, so the NRA they do have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
And
they do.
I'm pretty sure there is a gun registry thing of like, owners that the police are supposed to be able to access in America.
I would
But the
imagine
NRA
there
have
is.
made it so it's like super limited on what they can actually do with it.
I would
Like, I think it's like
imagine
all
it is,
paper records, because they're not allowed. The NRA won't let them keep digital records of gun owners for some
What?
fucking reason. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually true. This is just hyperbole shit. But
Could be a bit of both, couldn't it? Let's be honest.
yeah,
But no, like what I love is like the differences between like the NRA in England and the NRA in America. So like the NRA in England is more of a museum. Like they genuinely just like teach people to be safe with weapons, show people like the history of rifles and whatnot, and it is a truly like it's sports at the core. So like
Yeah.
the NRA in America is just like, we must protect the American rights. You know, it's like, oh god, what have you just shared?
This thing I was talking about, I just checked if it's actually a thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's just a stark difference between the two. It shows the difference in like culture.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing before we get off the gun topic, America, for God's sake, just unban silencers. Like, I've seen states who like ban silencers, and it just makes police work harder. It's like silencers don't stop a gun from making sound. Like, it's not like Call of Duty where they go pew pew, right, is it? It's gonna be a big bang. It's still an explosion, and that's what they make the sound of, a bang. It's just a slightly shorter, like quieter bang, and gets rid of a muzzle flash from what. It would make sense, right? It gives it a bit, yeah. So it's quieter. It's not silent. So all it does is stops people panicking. So, I mean, I think I've lost everyone again. It looked like people were making.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, we're listening intently.
No, it's
Sorry,
alright. I saw
we just-
like green flashes come up, and I was like, "Oh, have I lost someone?" In case you don't know, my internet is atrocious. This thing will take about an hour or two to upload, and then a couple of hours to process. It's just but yeah. So allow silencers. Yeah, allow silencers. I don't have a problem with attachments on weapons. Like, you look at that gun. In the I mean, I don't think you guys can see. I don't think I've shared it to you at all. Like, but you look at the gun there, and I don't see that there's a problem with having a scope, a grip. I think that's got a different pistol grip on it as well, and a bipod. That's fine, right? It's your gun. Go to town with it, right? But there's no reason to have.
There are a couple of exceptions, I'd say, to that, like the bump stock, which is what the Vegas shooter used.
Yeah, but you say
It's
that.
right? It's gone into a super accurate, basically automatic.
It's not super accurate though, right? So.
Well, it reduces the recoil, so it can just spray fire and keep its
It
accuracy.
doesn't change the recoil. What it does is you push the gun apart, and it keeps pressure on the trigger, uses the recoil to come back and refire that trigger. So you can do the same thing with a belt. It just makes it easier. Like, whether you want to ban bump stocks or not, that's fine. But like, I personally think if you're going to do that, you're going to have to You're going to have to ban the practice of bump firing, which is going to be like a nightmare to moderate, right? Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know, like a much better sort of licensing system. I think background checks are a thing that America already does. Like, I think it's one of them sort of like liberal lies, as they were, where they say, "Oh, there's no background checks." I think they do background checks. I think.
Yeah, they have background checks, but they've also got the private sales issue.
Yeah.
Sort of less.
I'm going to say, I think a lot of stores don't. I've read up again. I don't know how true a lot of it is, but a lot of stores don't actually allow. We don't bother with them. It's almost optional.
Yeah.
And
see, I think what you just raised there is a problem with like news in general. So I've heard the opposite as well, right? I don't think there is a valid source that I've seen to give me like a true impartial thing. There's never been like a look into gun sales and how they operate in America, has there? Well, not that I can find. I mean, if someone can find it, post it in the comments. But I haven't found one where they talk about, the pros, the cons, how things are going, what it's like being a gun owner. Because at the end of the day, gun owners have to make a profit, right? So what you're saying is probably true in some cases. They probably do ignore background checks just for the sake of making a quick sale, right? They probably look at it and go, "Oh, what can this thing do? It's fine. They look safe. Sell them, yeah." I could believe that's a thing that people do, right? But yeah, so you got any final comments on like acid attacks or gun crime in America or whatnot, guys? or should we move on to the next topic?
Well, just in terms of attacks, I'll say another big thing that a lot of people seem to focus on with Britain, or at the very least London, is knife crime. But I'll just put it quite bluntly: I'd rather someone come at me with a knife than someone come at me with a gun.
Yeah, you've got.
It's a damn sight harder to kill more people with a knife than with a gun.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, isn't it? One thing that stops a good guy with a gun is a bad guy with a gun. Yeah, the good guy with a gun is the police officer. But like, I don't think I'd like to be a police officer and have to deal with all these bad guys with a gun. That's what I'd like to say on anyway. At least it's like at the end of the day, like police work must be hard enough as is, right? Like, without having mass shootings to deal with.
Yeah.
I think what America needs. I'm not saying call for a ban of guns, right? I think Americans should be allowed guns. I think everyone should be allowed guns, provided that they fit, criteria. Which I think both sides of the argument would agree, right? I think access to guns should be free. Yeah, I think it should be restricted in a sensible sense, i.e. no people who are mentally ill, better background checks on the mentally ill, better background checks on criminal records, and things like that. But I think if that was the case, maybe Americans would just go to acid attacks and knife crimes. Like you say though, I'd much rather be stabbed than shot. It's a slightly higher chance of surviving.
Yeah. I mean, people always talk about as well, like, oh, well, if they can't get guns, they'll just steal a car or a van and ram it into people. But, like, could you imagine having to register and go through a load of different tests to get your hand in a car? Could you imagine that? What a world, eh?
Oh, I'm paying the insurance as well.
Yeah,
Like, you don't want to go on, like, a mass, like, what are we calling it? Mass carring spree.
Yeah, fucking ruin your premium there.
Carnage, if you will. You don't want to go on a mass carnage and like get pulled over by the cops for not having insurance.
That's the thought. Maybe that's why they never fix the potholes. You can't crash a car into someone if you can't reach them because the road's fucked.
Oh, we're talking about the UK now.
That's it. That's what the councils are doing, right? That's it. I've figured it out now.
I think there was like a thing a while ago where it was a group of Islamists. They planned to attack an EDL rally or something. And they got caught. They got caught because their car wasn't insured or taxed or something.
Oh,
that just sums up Britain, doesn't it?
Perfect.
We stop terrorism by bureaucracy.
I mean, hey, if it works.
I mean, it does. You're right. Okay, so I think after 42 minutes of this topic and generally just going off and wafting on random tangents, I think we should go to topic 2, right? Ooh. Which is the lovely topic of Brexit. So I'm going to ask you guys, how do you think Brexit's going?
Well, I was just about to suggest, why don't we do, like, this is a separate podcast, like, another day?
Don't worry about it.
Then you get more episodes.
Fine.
Yeah, but it's a podcast. It's too short for a podcast, isn't it? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Sure, why not?
So how do you guys feel about Brexit?
I mean, the government is doing a worse job of it than I'd
Okay, so should we start off by like describing our political alignment before we go into this one, right?
Ooh,
dangerous territory, I know. I mean, currently, my YouTube channel looks like I'm like a full-on like liberal, but like no, I'm quite a centralist sort of minor right liberal person. Ryan, how would you describe yourself? And
how would I describe myself?
Ironically communist?
Well, Marxist is probably the best word.
What about you?
There's an actual Marxist though. Like, but...
Read textbooks.
Again, it comes down to a lot of people don't understand what Marxism is, so
I'm going to be honest. I don't fully understand what Marxism is. Like,
I believe what Marxism is the exact thing that most people that are actually communists tend to argue about.
Nice. What about you, Ruffy? Or are you very, very sort of like central?
Probably more left than central, but mostly central.
Yeah, I'm like the odd one out here, aren't I? Like.
Yeah, man. I mean, self-identified SJW soy boy over here.
Oh, no, I mean, if you're going by that, I'm definitely a soy boy. Like, I can't stand milking coffees. I fucking love soy milk. Beautiful.
Ugh.
I like how unironically eat tofu. Just
Why?
because it's tasty if you like cook it right.
Sure.
It is. Have you ever tried tofu?
No,
Okay.
you word for
Okay,
that
you
one.
got me. You got me.
If you try
Yeah.
tofu, but like follow a recipe as opposed to like doing it by eye, right? It's nice. Like so, basically, the only reason meat tastes good, right, is because of all the stuff we add to it. Why not add them to
Yeah, oh,
tofu?
yeah.
So I made
Well, this lasted a while before going off topic.
Look, man, no, tofu is definitely relevant. This,
for Brexit, right? I don't mind
Yeah.
tofu prices going up because of Brexit.
oh, you know, Brexit's already fucked my local community. Came in right as we were having a big expansion to our town centre, and Nando's fucking pulled out.
Somewhere, I kind of have this image of like a half-built shopping centre, like with Nando's like sign but nothing else, because they pulled everything else out.
But Brexit happened.
How close am I on that one?
Honestly, pretty accurate, yeah. You know, it was a brilliant, like, large, you know, big development, going to revitalise the town. Fucking Brexit happens. We've got an Asda and an Odeon are the only people that actually stuck with that expansion.
Oh,
The
speaking
rest
of
are just
Asda,
empty.
have we seen that Asda and Sainsbury's are going for that massive merger?
Oh, shit.
So,
Ooh.
on the topic of Brexit, how do we think that is going to impact? Do we think that it's going to go through in the end? Because I mean, I personally think the Monopolies Commission's going to get involved.
Yeah, you've got to be careful about really big brands merging together
Because of
because
that, for the one, I think it's the 0.5% of my American audience who will probably not watch this because there's so much difference in time between this and the last video, but nonetheless, Asda is Walmart. It's part of the Walmart.
I always forget that.
But from
Well, Walmart own
You know, because
Asda.
Asda feels so much less trashy than Walmart does.
We're going to say, well,
I don't know.
Asda is owned by Walmart, but started out as its own thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think what's happening
Yeah.
is
Asda being
Sainsbury's
associate
is
dairies.
buying Asda as opposed to Asda and Walmart buying Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the Monopolies Commission's going to get involved in it. And I don't know, especially with Brexit.
Yeah.
Like, at the moment, I'm going to be honest, Brexit's looking a bit grim, right? You have
Yeah,
Nigel
it's
Farage
hard to
saying on the
call.
radio saying that we are in a much worse position now than we would have been if we stayed in the EU. Like,
Yeah, now he's saying that he never said that Brexit would be a good thing. It's just that he wanted it. That's something he's actually said, I believe.
I mean, I could believe
You
saying
know, that is a quote for life right there. You know, I never said it would be good. I just said I wanted it.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that one, can you? Christ. I feel like we need a picture of Nigel Farage.
Every discussion needs a picture of Nigel Farage. You know,
I'm in favour of that one. I think we just need a picture of Nigel Farage.
he's just kind of amusing to look at.
I'm just gonna download a quick picture of Nigel Farage from like somewhere that's free. You know, where can I get it? Oh, Brexit Central. I feel like I'm probably okay having that one. Let's see.
Oh yeah, man, look you over there.
I mean, if it's not, you know, just let me know and I'll blur out his section. But yeah, like let's just like quickly, promptly add like an extra layer of like image. Add image source. Browse. Let's go for a bit of Nigel Farage. Let's find out how well this is working. And of course, Nigel Farage has not saved properly. Because why
He's
would
already trying to leave.
Why would
But yeah, I'm going to say, well, why would you do that? I'm gonna say, why
He's
would you do
declaring
that?
independence from the rest of your downloads folder.
I mean, he actually did. Right. Oh god, that is a
Yeah,
big
to be
picture.
fair, I think
Right,
it's
okay, so
probably
we
worth
have
mentioning that, I mean, the thing with Brexit is, obviously it was a narrow vote. You know,
Oh.
I mean, there was quite a small turnout. I think it's like,
It was one of the larger turnouts of a British
no,
election,
I mean, it
wasn't it?
was, what was
Yeah.
it, 60-something
Yeah,
percent?
Yeah, which I think is pretty good.
That's roughly on par for what we tend to have from turnout.
Yeah,
though, isn't it?
and
That's
I mean,
not that.
in terms, I think it was like, what was it, 48 point something percent voted, and 8 out of those voted, and 52
Yeah.
or 50, 51 point something voted leave.
Hmm.
And yeah, the to use the term that's generally used, the Brexiteer politicians, they saying this is justified, the kind of extreme hard Brexit. We don't want anything to do with Europe anymore. Let's toss them to the wind, so to speak. But
which I think's wrong. I think we should have
yeah, I mean,
something to do with Europe.
I'm gonna say, obviously, after eventually getting a deal, I mean, it's only been what, 2 years, 3? What was it? So it was 2016. We had the vote.
All I remember is I was in the Lake District when the results came in, and I stayed up a bit late because I always stay up late to watch the results of an election, mostly because I have a bet on them.
72.2%.
It was what? Sorry.
72.2%.
Okay, so it's actually really good turnout then. To be fair.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's better than I thought.
9% vote for.
Brilliant. But yeah, so all I remember about the day of the Brexit result was I stayed up late. I think I stuck a bet on. Like I probably had a bit of a bet like on remaining because that was like Bookie's favourite, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So I probably had a bit of a bet on it. I was like, stay up a bit late. I think I stayed up till about 2 o'clock. Went to bed. Woke up in the morning. Was like, oh, we left. Huh. That was my reaction to Brexit. Just huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I voted to remain, right? I thought, you know what, I don't really care what happens, but I feel like this is probably the safer option. Like, I don't really mind if we leave. I don't really mind if we stay, but just for the sake of staying safe.
I'm gonna say, I mean, again, going back to it, it's like there is a potential for a good Brexit, but
is there at this point though?
Not
at this point, I'd say no. We fucked like
it could have been good
the way as a country we sort of handled it.
I think it was Jonathan Pye I was watching who was saying if we'd have had a plan from the start and had a campaign based around the plans that we'd laid out, so like what we were going to do, how we were going to deal with money, how we were going to deal with the Irish border, because like the fact of the matter is we're still dealing with the Irish border at this point.
There was so much that went into it because it wasn't a well planned out thing.
David Davis resign, right?
It was what was it? It was a yes or no, in or out question, thrown out to the public to try and get him some more votes in the election he just won.
With next to no
because
context.
He didn't. If I had to bet, I reckon there was never any expectation from the government that it would actually win. That Brexit would actually go through. Because they had no plan.
I think that was confirmed.
They were putting it out there because promising they'd give a vote on it got them the UKIP.
But yeah, I think that the government had no intentions of actually leaving the EU. Like when Cameron resigned, that was the point that made me think, oh, okay, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, Cameron, obviously the Brexit debate had been going on within the Conservative Party for years.
Yeah, which I find quite weird.
Cameron was trying to stop it and essentially glue the Conservative Party together because behind the scenes, they were and now on the scenes.
Speaking of like gluing it together, how do you feel Labour's doing right now? Do you think that they're together enough?
At this point, I don't know.
Do you think Corbyn's going to last another election?
Corbyn is. The thing is, Corbyn's got his position now.
Yeah, he's. If I had to, especially with the sort of the political climate right now, he is probably the most popular thing about Labour. People that don't like him probably weren't going to vote for his party anyway, and people that do like him, he's probably the most popular thing they've got right now. They've got nothing.
See, I think it's fair to say that Corbyn single-handedly made me switch to be like a right-wing voter. Because I vehemently just disagreed with how he was dealing. Because it just felt like he was wanting to give people free stuff. I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, and I know.
Yeah,
we keep saying that the budget wasn't costed, but I mean, it was a bit more costed than the Conservatives was. Like, it actually had numbers attached to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to say there's an entire separate document saying, here's how we're going to fund this.
But no, I just think that the way they dealt with it was, we need to get young people voting for us. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, let's give them free stuff.
I mean, I feel like it's less that. It was more he was definitely going in to appeal to, because I know a lot of young people that previously, before that last election, they couldn't vote. They weren't eligible for voting, but they were still interested in politics. A lot of them tend, when you get them, to lean towards the left. And Corbyn was really just trying to drive up sort of popularity in left-wing ideas and try and really aim for that young person base,
Yeah.
which
I
I feel like
mean,
he's definitely done. But
one of the main
would
things
you have
Corbyn-
preferred Corbyn being in charge for Brexit?
I
Political
don't
leaning
know.
aside.
This is I know Corbyn was, I believe, at the very least leaning towards Brexit.
Yeah.
Well, I personally was
Yeah, we're going to
definitely
say
the
officially.
Remain candidate for that.
Yeah, so officially he was part of the Remain campaign,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's always been Eurosceptic. But for the main reason he went for Remain is because I think it's basically. I mean, there's probably a bit of political play involved in that. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
Remain was probably seen as the most popular thing and would be the best idea. But
I mean, I think in part,
just
Leave was backed really heavily by a lot of right-wing groups,
Just a minute.
and the way
Ryan, your
his
mic's
image
gone
was
weird
being
again.
built. Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's Ryan's.
Oh, yeah, right.
That better?
yeah,
Yeah, that's better. As
Yep,
you were.
hey.
As you were, Wakey.
Yeah. So I mean, his image was built up at the time, sort of, left-wing populist figure.
Yeah.
I think he couldn't have gone with the public backing of Leave, because Leave was so heavily associated at that time with things like UKIP and right-wing group. The way his image was built, he wouldn't have been able to go for Leave publicly.
Yeah. Okay. See, I personally think Theresa May was, at the start of this campaign, the right person for the job. Now, I'm thinking she's got no support with the party. I mean, we've had, David Davis has resigned, Boris Johnson's resigned, some other random person has resigned, another person whose name I forget has resigned, and right now I'm thinking...
the entire...
it's basically the entire front row, isn't it?
Ministry of Brexit has resigned.
Yeah. Now
I mean, the thing is, though, Theresa May, she doesn't seem to at least project any kind of principles of her own. At least Corbyn does. But
is that good for a politician? You don't elect an MP to use his own views, do you? You elect an MP to express yours.
But at the same time, I mean...
Yeah. I think
it's more
him good in that, it's giving people something to go towards.
I don't know, I think the next election's going to be really weird. The next election, I think we're going to be out of Europe, aren't we? The EU, when the next election happens, if we don't have another surprise election.
In theory, we're supposed to be, but that depends on how much the government manages to actually achieve that.
Because I mean, right now, as it is, what is the government arguing over Brexit? It's like they're still arguing over the divorce bill, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure that everything about how it's actually happened
they're still
is
arguing
undecided.
over the Northern Ireland. Okay, so we're still arguing over the Northern Irish border, right? So here's my question to you: how do we fix the Northern Irish border?
I mean, there isn't really a given answer, is there? I mean, obviously the DUP, who are giving the Tories their majority right now, they disagree with the Tories because they want a soft border.
Which makes sense, it's their country.
Well, I'm going to say, yeah. Well, the hard Brexit camp, they want a hard border with them because they're EU, and they want a hard border of the EU to stop the kind of to stop free movement into the country, which is one of the things they deeply oppose. The idea that anyone can choose to where they work. Although, ironically, it normally turns into choose where to get exploited, but hey-ho.
See, my fear with the Northern Irish border is, if we go to having a hard border, we're going to have the same issue we had with the IRA. Where there's going to feel like a larger divide, and there's just going to be more attacks. Right? And again, I'm vastly oversimplifying how the IRA attacked.
Well, I mean, it'll certainly spark up Irish unity movements like the IRA in the North.
But
if they decide, they want to be part of Europe, they want to be part of the Republic of Ireland, they'll
this could
spark up
all be
again and say, look,
solved
we want
if
out of the
Ireland
UK.
joined the UK. But
That's a very controversial thing.
It's not. It would actually be solved overnight
It
by
would-
Ireland.
It would.
This
No,
one
because
specific
these
issue.
separatists-
This one
Yeah, that
specific
one
issue
issue.
would be fixed overnight.
It's you got to take into mind that the separatists will not just take that willingly.
No, God no. I wouldn't imagine they would.
There's like a whole cultural mess with Ireland and very.
But as it stands, I don't want a hard border on Ireland. Because I feel like
No, I
we
think-
would be way, way too detached from a country that is... We become the US and Mexico, or the US and Canada, right?
There's absolutely no reason for a hard border between somewhere that is so close to us.
There is.
Like,
So, as it
Yes.
stands, theoretically, an immigrant could get from France to Ireland, and then if there's no hard border, they could go from Northern Ireland. They can go from Southern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland, completely free
Yeah.
movement. That's the fear. So there's fear that we won't have true control over our borders. I pose to you, we're already going through this right now, right?
yeah.
Where's the issue? We've already got immigrants coming to this country. Illegally, legally, however. We don't have control over our borders as is. If we wanted control over our borders, we'd have found a way of incorporating Ireland better. Could it be, however, a solution, which I've just come up with on the spot, because I'm just that good, could we have hard border sections on major highways? So trucks, buses, and other such large vehicles have to go through a hard border, whereas a car or a foot passenger could go over a soft border.
I feel like there is some sense. I feel like the idea of like making sure to check trucks coming in and out of the country and stuff, it just should be common sense anyway.
Yeah, so securing trucks and whatnot, that would fix the issue we have where we'd have unregulated influx of imports.
Yeah,
People
like
avoiding duty and things like that. I think
Like
that's another
I'm
fear.
not really much of a hard border person, but I can't see any problem with regulating stuff like large vehicles coming into the country. That feels like some of the safety reasons alone
So we
should be
separate.
done.
We have a section of the Republic of Ireland and a section of Northern Ireland, which is effectively a neutral zone, where it's all dedicated to just distributing trucks, cars, people, and then they all go through separately and come out back again on the other side. Logistically, an absolute fucking nightmare, alright? That's the only problem I can come up with. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, that is the only safe way we've got of securing the border. Because I don't want a hard border, because, as far as I'm concerned, we aren't at war with Ireland. We aren't in any kind of hostile relations with Ireland. They are our allies. Why the hell do we need to secure their citizens from coming on holiday to England? And I know the logic is we wouldn't. We would be securing people coming from the Middle East. But we're sacrificing civil liberties for the sake of security. And I don't like that idea. So, can you think of a better way of fixing this problem, other than massive logistics nightmares of massive looping roads of hellholes that are worse than Spaghetti Junction? That's what we need, Spaghetti Junction 2.0, right?
Just the mother of all roundabout.
Oh, good God. Yeah, no, why not?
Oh yeah, that's the perfect thing. Make it as something of a citizenship test. Yeah, any entrance to the UK involves a massively complicated roundabout. You can't make it through it. You're not British.
Oh dear.
I'm just gonna get a roadmap of the gonna try and get a roadmap of Spaghetti Junction just for the American viewers.
Well, apparently there are actually roundabouts in America. By the way, Ross,
Yeah. They really understand solar.
No, but I mean, like, Spaghetti Junction is just a hellhole, right? Like, because the idea is, wasn't it something along the lines of you redivert traffic from one section of the country to the other? It's like the north side, north and south, east-west, like, overlap, isn't it? Something like that. I'm not entirely sure, because, like, I've never driven that road, and nor would I want to. Right, I think... No, that's not... I can't find one. Apparently there's one in Atlanta, Georgia called the Spaghetti Junction as well. Which is making it really complicated, so I can't actually find the Spaghetti Junction. So I'm afraid you're going to have to Google that one, people, if you're interested. But yeah, so Spaghetti Junction 2.0 or hard border. That's the way of fixing it, isn't it? So this divorce bill, do you think that we owe them? Do you think we owe Europe for this divorce bill?
Well, I mean, the main problem is that, as far as I'm aware, it's written into EU law that you have to pay, that amount if you want to leave the EU.
I think it's to do with settling pensions and commitments to do with like economic trades and stuff. I think that's what the divorce bill entails.
Yeah.
It's like prior commitments we've had.
In a case like that, I don't see why we shouldn't be paying back. It's part of what we agreed to when we first joined.
What
and
I want to know though is
it's just the EU work.
Why is it such a hotly contested number?
Because the same people that are desperately want us completely cut of the EU don't like the idea of having to pay them for something that they don't think is our problem.
Even if so talking from a moral standpoint, even if we don't legally owe this money, right? Do we not need to pay it anyway?
Yeah, I mean,
just to save,
if
just to save economic bankruptcy.
If we even pretend that we want to keep positive relationships with our closest economic and global neighbours,
right?
We should probably.
We don't have the best relationship with mainland Europe, right?
We don't.
We've either been in wars after wars after wars with the French, or wars after wars with the Germans. Who've been...
It feels like either most countries in the world either we've been at war with a lot, or we previously owned and were sort of dicks.
Well, I mean, welcome to Europe. Basically, I'm going to say Europe's a continent of conflict.
I mean, I feel like we're good right now. I feel like Europe is okay.
Yeah, but
Europe.
I feel like we're
European
okay.
imperialism that spawned basically most of the world's current issues.
But Brexit's a funny one.
Yeah.
Right. Because I get the want for sovereignty, right? I do. I get the want for wanting representation in your own laws.
Yeah.
It's the same reason America left the British Empire, right? I think we've just come up with a better, more British sort of stiff upper lip way of doing it, right? We're voting on it instead of killing people. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like this is just what we want. We want sovereignty. We want our own country, and we want to make laws based on this country and not based on somewhere else. Because as it stands, we've got health and safety regulations that are set by the EU, right? Which might not even be relevant to us.
Yeah, I feel like I've for all the amount of talk when Brexit was first happening, I don't think I've ever once heard legitimate things changing with our law. I've never heard a logistical benefit being. What's that?
Sorry, it's Ryan. I think his mic's gone weird again.
Yeah. Computer just kind of had a fit.
I've never heard anyone actually give a law that we should be changing to improve based on how our country works. Yeah. I've never seen an actual logistical benefit to not being in the EU.
Other than lawmaking, there isn't really one. Well, that I can see, at least. We can set our own borders and whatnot. That's another thing. But, I mean, setting our own borders is kind of one of them things that winds up having weirdly named wars named after it if we dig it up and whatnot.
Yeah,
talking
sure,
of the
we can set our own borders, but what the fuck are we gonna do with setting our own border? We're a fucking island. You can't really get much
It's
more
fine.
set borders than that.
I think what Britain's wanting to do is I think we're wanting a sequel to Icelandic Cod Wars 2. I think we're wanting to have another one.
That sounds like a hell of a B-movie blockbuster.
You see, you laugh, but I think like there was actual casualties in that.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It was a fishing dispute with Iceland where we said that this specific set of land was ours. Iceland said it was theirs. Now, if you look at the UK and Iceland, you can kind of understand why, right? It somewhat makes sense. Iceland's the green one, by the way. You can
Oh.
You're thinking Greenland, that's the one with the ice.
Still
You can
fucking
somewhat
love
understand the reason why there was a bit of a conflict over it. So we sent actual military ships, right, to defend our shipping. To defend our fishing ships. And people died. But, yeah,
People died over that card, you know, you shouldn't be so ungrateful.
Like, seriously,
I don't know.
I urge you to
I
look
mean,
this
I've got
up,
to say though, if you're going to start a national conflict over something, why cod? It's like the most mediocre of fish.
Replace it with tofu.
I'm gonna say going on to like a serious thing though. Like the thing is, obviously the fishing industry was a major part of the Brexit vote. The argument was that Spanish and German fishermen or whatever it was were fishing in what should be British waters.
Well, surely
And
that's an issue that the EU should be
Nigel
resolving.
Farage was a big proponent of that argument. We need to reclaim our borders at sea. Reclaim where British fishermen can fish.
But on a serious note, when was the last time you guys ate fish?
Yeah. The thing is, Farage has been part of the EU Fisheries Commission. He's in a position to, actually, within the EU, try and do something about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that like solving disputes like this without big international arguments is kind of the reason the EU's there.
Yeah, we're going to say the thing is, Farage never attended the Fisheries Commission that he was a part of. And then, he tries to say to the fishermen, oh, look, yeah, I'm doing something about this. Look, there's a problem with the fisheries. We need to have Brexit. Ignoring, look, I care so much about you fishermen that I don't attend the commission on fisheries.
I think Brexit was a thing that... I don't think it was just Farage, right? I think it was the public wanted it, right?
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of... Before, 2010, 2012, nobody was talking about Europe, and then out of nowhere, people, what prompted, you got to ask, what prompted everyone to start suddenly looking at UKIP? Because it suddenly just appeared in the media out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, UKIP are a new party that want us to leave the EU, but UKIP have been around for decades.
Yeah.
So I think there was something
for all those
bigger.
people who don't know, UKIP, there was a theory my friend came up with. I lived with him last year. He came up with the theory that UKIP was started by a bunch of right-wing conservatives, like hard right-wing conservatives, which is why all the racist, where the idea of UKIP being racist comes from. But then they appealed accidentally to the working class. So UKIP was a far-right party that ironically became far-left. Is the theory that he came up with, which is why...
I mean, it really depends on your definition of left there, I've got to fucking say, man.
It doesn't. I mean, economically left, not liberally, or
I was going to say, because that's where the divide mainly referred to nowadays.
Oh, I know, but it's so wrong. It's not. So left and right defines how conservative or liberal you are on an economic scale, right? Wasn't it something to do with the French sitting on the left or right of the Prime Minister or something? If that's where the idea came from, of being a left or right party.
Who fucking knows, honestly?
So then it kind of got middled up with the idea of left and right is equal to civil liberties, and it's not. That's liberal or authoritarian.
Well, you say that, but let's face it. This day and age, the definitions sort of just changed naturally. You know what I mean?
I don't like that. That's like saying that literally now means to add hyperbole.
I mean, I don't want to be rude, but that is how language works.
I know it is, but I will not accept it. And Ryan's probably now typing, what does literally mean? And it does mean add hyperbole, right?
Yeah,
They did,
no, I'm not.
they did change the meaning.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I want literally to literally mean what it meant. I don't like the English language. I don't.
Well, I mean, you got Shakespeare to blame for the current language.
It's not just Shakespeare though, is it? It's everyone
It's Shakespeare and then the little bits of everyone else's language that we just kind of nicked.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, Shakespeare and the Normans are the two big ones for really overdoing the British language or the English language.
I don't know. Like you look around you, like because you live in Yorkshire, don't you, Ryan? Right?
Well, hey.
Well, hey. So you look around you, right? You look at names of towns. How many of them are like Norman or English or like Anglo-English? There's not many of them.
Well, of course, actually, yeah.
Most of them come from Latin.
Well, I mean, Yorkshire, a lot of Yorkshire towns are actually Nordic.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, York. What was
In
it? That comes from Jorvik, doesn't it? That's.
I'm gonna say in the 9th century, there was, the 9th and 10th century, the north of England was a Viking colony.
Yeah, which is like how York came from Jorvik. But like,
yeah, well, the Latin name for York is Iberacum.
Oh right, I didn't know that one.
Which is why if you're ever in York, you'll hear a lot of people talk about Ebor, which is, I mean, it's I think it's now a area of York or something, but it comes from the old Latin name.
Huh.
I think Iberacum was either Latin or Celtic, and I can't remember which. But then, obviously, the Vikings, they took the city of Iberacum and they named it Jorvik, which was Viking. And then, after the Norman conquest,
didn't Jorvik translate like from Viking language? I forgot what it's called, like Nordic language. Wasn't it literally like city on hill? It was something really stupid.
I'm not sure. Probably not, because I don't think it's on a hill.
It was something really stupid. It was like It was one of them like literal names. Like Lancaster is like on. It's like Latin for on river. Like it's Latin for that of like lan on river. And so it was like Doncaster is on Don, like on the River Don. If someone's got like Google handy, like find out what Jorvik meant. Because my Google's currently filled up with lovely pictures of Nigel Farage.
Let's see, Jorvik mechanism.
So yeah, it's either Nigel Farage or guns. It's like just guns and Farage. It's the best combo, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That is the group chat going crazy. I'm going to stick my phone
English. I mean, the English language does have a lot of roots. I mean,
yeah, we are. They say we're a culture of cultures, don't they?
Yeah.
And I quite like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just saying in terms of modern English, because you're saying about words like literally, just excessive adjectives. They really do stem from Shakespearean work, where he made up words to make.
So let's bring this back round to Brexit. How do you think the English language is going to change over time with the effects of Brexit? Just so this tangent made some sense.
I mean, I guess Brexit is now sort of a word.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. The Brexit secretary's title is like actually just Brexit secretary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not.
It's like
that's not like a nickname. It's his title.
Oh, I love this country sometimes. I hate it at some points, but like every so often, it just does something so dumb.
Yeah, it's always the naming things that I end up liking this country for. When they had those what was it, Boaty McBoatface?
Oh, I don't even.
Oh, and then somebody did something for like some what was it? I think some council did it for like some gritting machines.
Yeah, it's
like David Bowie.
Wasn't Boatface the Queen Elizabeth like cruise liner? It was the Elizabeth Class 2 cruise liner or something that they wanted to
Fucking
name
coward, sir.
And it got changed to Boat Boatface because of the internet.
Well, because they had a vote for it, and that's what the UK wanted.
And if I remember rightly, our snowplow in my hometown is called Snowy McSnowface.
Oh,
the
I
same
know.
Logic.
I don't know where this is, but some place in England had a vote for theirs, and I think it ended up with the Gritsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Anti-Slip Machine and David Plowie.
It was somewhere in Lincolnshire. I think
I
it
quite
was.
like David Plowie.
Oh shit, is it in Lincolnshire?
What's that?
No.
It was somewhere in.
David
I think
Plowie
it's like
Lincolnshire.
Boston or something.
Oh.
Itsy Bitsy Snowplow. Let's have a look. So Itsy was Itsy Bitsy whatever, and was David Plowie.
Yeah.
And there's no.
See,
Where
this
is
is the
it?
only problem with going off on tangents.
Oh, it was Doncaster. Never mind.
Boy-o!
Good old
Of
Doncaster.
course it was Doncaster.
God, I wish we had a claim to fame like that over in Cheshire. Fuck all.
No, you really don't, though. That's the thing. You don't have our claim to fame.
Yeah, we don't have anything.
So, for those of you who don't know, Doncaster is known in the old world for making trains. It was known then in the sort of modern modern world, semi-modern, for mining coal. It is now known for snowplows. A bit of a change of progression, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What was it called again? Itsy Bitsy.
Teeny
God,
weeny
that's
yellow
okay.
anti-slip machine.
God.
And don't forget David
Ryan, can you give me
Plowie.
an image of that and just drop it in the Discord? I'm gonna like
Oh, what, an image of the plough of a name?
the plough. Because this is Doncaster, the free press is gonna be all over this. There is gonna be an image of it.
Well, it's just like a normal snowplow.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can drop you on anyway.
Go for it, because like, I feel like we need something to break up the Farage and guns.
1 moment. Download show. We'll go with that now.
Oh, boyo.
Oh, Tom's beat me to it. Sort of.
So, I mean, if you can get a straight image, it requires me doing less on-the-fly
Yeah,
cropping.
no, I mean, I've got a straight image.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Is it from the free
Right.
press, by the way? Because I bet it is.
It's
Probably
from
one.
Sky News.
Oh, right, okay. That's quite impressive, to be honest. I didn't think Sky News really covered.
Oh, they covered it on Lad Bible as well, mate. All the big news
Yeah, well,
outlets.
it was
I'm
quite
sorry,
big.
can we just have that in quotes again? The Lad Bible is big news.
No, like, big internet news, like, you know, it was doing its rounds on all the internet, so all the news, like all the news
Yeah.
companies and
Oh shit, they covered it on Last Leg.
Ah, shit.
yeah, so it's the
Good.
Gritsy Bitsy, Seeny Weeny, Yellow Anti-Slip Machine.
Right, so, the things are probably going to go weird when I use, like, snipping tool, but I am going to get that there. I'm
Oh,
just going to get
hang
the name of it, to be
I just
honest.
realised I never actually sent it. I was waiting on the.
Download dot.
Oh, piss off.
I
Is
don't
that supposed to
mind.
be how GIF is now pronounced, or
I don't
is that file
know.
type?
I don't know what my computer's done there.
Right.
Might download it anyway, see if it's.
You don't know what your computer's done. That's probably not good, Ryan.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Oh no, is Ryan being hacked? The ice.
Right, there we go. So, like, I'm just going to go back so people know who we are and whatnot. There we go. So, there we go. This random tangent now has an image. How do we feel, boys? I mean, this is why, like, Discord is just, like, not going to be compatible with anything, and, like, OBS is going to,
No,
like,
it's
screw
not
over
showing up
it.
the picture, so.
Absolutely no images, isn't it? Wait.
I mean, look, man. What would you rather
Oh
use?
no,
Fucking Skype?
that isn't what GIF is. That is, sorry, GIF, or however you want to pronounce it. That is
Sure.
an internet embedded sort of encoded file.
I don't know how you're managing to get these. What are you doing?
Oh, I just want Google Images.
It's fine. Like, I've just copied
When's
like
the
new
first
council
one?
gritter. And, like, I've been nice. I've left the credit to the guy who did like the article. So like you can go to that article if you want. this one wasn't the one from Sky News. This was the one that Wakey just came up with and found. So just like, yeah, find that if you want. That's a thing. Yeah. So, do we think Brexit could have had a better name then? If so, what would you have called Brexit? Would you have called it Exity Muck Exit Face?
Well, let's just say that I know the first semi-major political name to in the media actually accidentally say breakfast.
Was that when they dubbed it over with that silly little...
Probably.
I forgot what it
I
was.
don't
No,
know,
there was
but
there was like a little video file of like these three actors who had like Down syndrome.
Oh
like,
god!
What's going on here?
Oh,
Breakfast.
That breakfast meme
Wait,
was a thing for
no.
a while.
No, I mean the guy I know. Can't remember. He's Terence Smith, the mayor of, or the former, at least, mayor of Goole.
Yeah.
Civic mayor, like youngest mayor in the country, and like, apparently he said on one of the news channels, because it was early in the morning, he hadn't eaten yet, and he was thinking about food, and he accidentally said breakfast instead of Brexit.
God.
And of course, it's already been the joke. You know, it was a joke ever since the name really was given. It sounds like breakfast, and obviously full English breakfast, eh?
We need a hard breakfast.
Because as we're recording this, it is currently like 12:30 at night, and you're making me hungry, Ryan. I don't want to be thinking about full English breakfast.
Fucking make some food, you coward. Time isn't real anyway.
Go get some sausage, go get some bangers, go get some mash, get some eggs.
Oh, I can't, because I've had like a proper Sunday dinner today. So I'm quite I'm quite full.
Yeah, you know what? On our
you know-
previous topic, Sunday dinners. That's one thing I'm proud of this for.
Yeah. Sunday dinner's full English. So,
We did one
here's-
thing right.
Here's an interesting fact. Do you know where full English came from?
Probably not England.
No, it is an English thing. Like, you can get it in other countries too. But like the idea of a full English breakfast was what miners' wives used to give to the miners, so that they'd have a lot more energy to go down and work with. So like it's become completely useless nowadays because we just eat them like as treats. But no, they genuinely just eat them like near every day. Because like you needed that much energy. Like for anyone who's swung a pickaxe, I'm sure you can attest to this. If you having to do that for like full work shifts, like when the like accounts of some miners being down there for like 12 hours, like 12-hour shifts and whatnot, coming back up for a couple of hours sleep and then going back down again. Like I don't know. Like I'd have to ask someone who wasn't an old miner, and they are quite hard to come by these days. But yeah, like that's where full English came from. It was just a miner's breakfast, really.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like
Like this, learn.
here's the thing. Do you have Yorkshire puddings on your Sunday roast?
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this going to start an argument about the type of Yorkshire pudding?
If you say Aunt Betsy's,
Ready
I'm
for
just
that.
gonna kick you from this server.
Well, no, I mean, I've known people from places that have very opinionated, like, views on certain foods. I don't want us to start another one of those.
See, to me, a Yorkshire pudding is just as long as it's got pancake batter, right? Bit thicker. Sling it in, let it rise. Jobs are good.
I'm
have it as a
just having
starter.
flashbacks to that time in college. I had an argument with someone over whether it was appropriate to leave a cottage pie to sit for a while so it would cool down, settle.
Ooh. See, I'll eat them either. I'll eat them either way.
Well, yeah, but if you want your cottage pie to remain stable when you put the mash on, you don't want it to all collapse. You gotta leave it for a bit to properly chill.
See, from what I've been told,
And put it in the oven?
chefs will say leave it about 20, like when it's like a couple, it's like 20 minutes, like when it's come out of the oven. Put the mash on, put the cheese on, put it back in the oven to heat it back up or something like that, so that the mash stays stable. But I mean,
Yeah.
I personally just like eating like food. I don't really give a crap like what my food looks like, provided it's edible and tastes nice. I don't know, like
Well, I'm going to say, I mean, the kind of 5-star chefs that are all about their presentation.
No, it's true to some extent. Like, you will enjoy food more if it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
yeah,
can I just say this tangent come from Brexit? This food tangent came from Brexit.
You know,
Lexus.
British culture, that isn't it? You know, we got like three things. We got breakfast, Sunday roasts, and naming shit weird.
Don't forget fish and chips.
I see. I'm not a big fan of fish and chips.
Nah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely not a seafood person. Just
I honestly am not. Like, I have fish and chips, but if it's fish and chips, it's got to be a really thin batter for me. I find like fish shop batter is really, really greasy.
Oh, yeah.
do
Go for
it.
credit.
But it's like, I also kind of get annoyed with like fish shops thinking that pucker pie is an acceptable replacement for a pie.
Don't compromise.
So there's a restaurant like where I'm from that does like proper, it's a proper restaurant, fish and chip restaurant, right? And they do like homemade pies, and it is so nice to not have to have a pucker pie. Like, you can buy pucker pies in shops, by the way, so if you for some reason are British and haven't tried a pucker pie, go grab one and enjoy that weird taste of generic pie. It's the only way
ambiguous pie substance.
it is, that's the only way I can describe it. It's generic pie. Like, all the pastry tastes just crap. It doesn't taste like pie pastry. Like, you've got to have that puff pastry, you know? Now, that's going to be a controversial opinion, as it is. Like, I'm probably
The great pastry debate.
Oh, it is though, isn't it? Like, that's the thing. Like, can you remember there was a controversy in like the Great British Bake Off over pastry or something?
Of
Oh.
course, bloody.
And it had people writing to Ofcom.
I mean, I still can't get over that classic British television moment where fucking what's her face left someone's bloody ice cream out the freezer.
That was Great
Like,
British Bake Off
that was like season 5 or something. That was
Yeah.
like the biggest fucking controversy of the
Yeah, but
year.
that was
That
because
one.
they edited it to make it look like it was done like as sabotage.
Yeah.
It genuinely wasn't. It was just a mistake.
I mean, mistake or not, it was bloody weird. It was great. Like that mistake of her part cost the other bloke, you know, the space in the tournament. Pretty much, like he went out of the episode. Next week, she wasn't even fucking there because she'd got 4-0.
Can we just like compare this to like the state of X Factor here? Like, we have the Great British Bake Off, which has a controversy over poor editing decisions over ice cream, and then we have the X Factor, who actively like fake people's voices.
Yeah.
Like, go down the X Factor rabbit hole. It's both
You know,
fascinating and terrifying.
funny thing is, I've only recently actually caught up on Bake Off. I never watched it when it came out.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which is even better because I watched, you know, all the other Bake Off-esque
binge
things
watch
that
it,
were
yeah.
out at the same time. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Great.
Oh, is it?
You know all the other Bake Off-esque things that were out at the same time.
Yeah.
You ever see any of those? Like Great British Sewing Bee, Great Pottery Throwdown.
I've seen one that was on, I think it was ITV or Channel 4 or something, which was called British Bake Off, and they're now doing a celebrity version of that, which is quite good.
No, but like those other spin-offs, like the pottery one and the sewing one, they were fucking great. Never saw the actual one though, for some reason. Never got around
Huh.
to it.
See, I don't remember half the spin-offs. Is this something
I
I'm
mean,
gonna have to go back and look at? Because like,
Oh,
feel like,
totally. Like
I feel like
you
this
know
is
that
higher up
that
the
sense
rabbit
of
hole.
unease you get when you see them carrying up the showstoppers on Bake Off because you're worried they're going to drop it.
Yeah.
The pottery throwdown is so much worse because it's them carrying them out of the kiln room on fucking cobblestones, walking back to the main building.
Oh
Sheer
my
panic.
God. Speaking of like amazing cooking shows, have you've obviously got Netflix, right? Have you seen it's called Nailed It? It's a
Oh,
Netflix
I've seen
original.
advertisements for it.
It's
Means
amazing.
look at.
It's like the opposite of the Great British Bake Off.
It's like proper amateur cooking.
They make the end of each episode where they just have a money gun and shoot the winner with money. It is like the American version of Great British Bake Off if the contestants couldn't cook.
Personally, I do love the sort of vaguely British way we handle like shows like Bake Off compared to American reality TV competitions.
So what is the rules of Bake Off? You've got to be an amateur baker.
It's
and
yeah,
you've
they
got
have
to
they
prove
have
to
they
have
can't
talent.
yeah they've got they can't have professional experience, and there's a very selective process for choosing who got to go on because these were the top of Britain's non-professional bakers.
I don't know about Netflix around the world, but if you have Great British Bake Off and you're like, oh, I don't really want to watch that because I don't want to watch amateurs like cook, like they are amateurs who are screened. Like, so it is a good show.
It's great. There's a wonderful variety of different people coming into it as well. You know what I mean? You got people that are still doing the university stuff. You got grandmothers who've been baking for years.
It's quite amazing to see the different variations of like baking that you can do as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever just want to be in the mood for baking, watch Great British Bake Off. Our best export except for Doctor Who.
I mean, look, let's face it, it's a lot more consistently quality.
I mean, it's going for less series. Oh, so Ryan, you might have gone down. Yeah, so it's like slightly, it's been going less series as right now, so you can't really say the consistency of the quality is better, because I think at this point Doctor Who was about the same quality.
Yeah.
I think it's only recently, since Moffat
honestly,
took the reins.
it's yeah.
Like, I don't like Moffat. I don't know if
you
you
know.
know.
What become of this now? Moffat's not.
I think Capaldi was a perfect choice for a Doctor.
Oh yeah, Capaldi was a really good Doctor, but
because I have seen that guy act in other things. He can act. Like he will take a role and he will make that his role.
Oh yeah, I mean,
if anything, the show in terms of how it's been run as a whole, I think has gotten away from where it was when it first got big again after the revival. And I just kind of hope that maybe
I haven't seen the new series with was it Jodie Whittaker?
Well, it's not out yet.
Is it not out yet?
No, Jodie's one isn't out yet.
Oh right, I'll have to. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, I am quite actually excited for her. Like she's another brilliant actress. Like.
Yeah, they're taking it in a fresh direction in terms of the act playing, and they've got someone else running the show now.
I'm a little bit terrified that they're going to go down the SJW route, because I think it is about time that we have a Doctor who's female.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, it's been an established concept for long enough, they may as well put their money where their mouth is.
Established concept is debatable, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of them things that they've hinted at.
Yeah, they've made enough little wink nudges at this being a thing.
So, the Master became a female.
And when he went back to Gallifrey, he shot someone.
Yeah.
And they came back up as female.
Yeah, so it has been a thing, right? But it's not been like a sort of big thing. It's been sort of like... But I am concerned that they are going to go down the SJW route and go for male equality.
Look, we've already managed to go through essentially one season's worth of a companion whose main character trait was lesbian. So, come on. Whatever happens, it won't be bad.
Because I don't want to see Jodie Whittaker fail. I want to see her be an amazing Doctor.
I mean, the thing is, with a different person behind the show now, it's very possible we could get some good stuff again. Because let's face it, recently Doctor Who has just gotten a little bit predictable. It's predictable, a bit stale.
I mean, it's better than it was before. It was like, oh look, they're on Mars. Weird. That looks like an English quarry.
Hey man, that BBC production there.
I mean, I was part of the Sci-Fi Society of the university last year, and they watched Old Who. It's so bad.
Oh yeah, that was funny. It was.
Well, they've only got so much budget to work with. You've got to get those old quarries out back. It's one thing when that's a circle
but it's not that. Honestly, the filming is good for the time. It's good for the budget. It's the writing. Yeah. The writing is so bad. It's so
it wasn't really a serious sci-fi show back then, was it? It was more of a campy educational.
I mean, I'm probably gonna get some massive slack in the comments for saying that, but I don't like Old Who. And watch this have a like to dislike ratio worse than my Smart Water video. Just because of that one sentence.
Controversial. That reminds me, I need to dislike that.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I haven't seen it, but I need to that
Do you
peer
know,
controversy.
there was a point where I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna own the fact that I made this video, and I'm gonna do like a review of like Lurpak butter, and just like watch me eat Lurpak butter. But I thought that might be a little bit too gross for the average audience. So
I
now,
eat butter for views.
Wait, is your smart water video still on here?
Yes, I mean, you can't be pro free speech and get rid of your like censor yourself. Like, you should never get rid of your
What
stuff.
was it called? Because I can't see it.
I think it's like my
Smart
review of
Water.
Smart Water or something.
Just search on YouTube Cow Cross
Just
Smart
like go
Water.
to Kyle
Find it.
Cross, right? Go to top viewed videos. And it'll be there.
All you have is home. Yeah, no. So uploads.
For those who haven't seen it, the one person who hasn't seen this video, it's me drinking water. I thought I could make, I think it's like a 10-minute video out of this, but yeah, like,
It's like 6 minutes.
it's cringe.
Oh, you
it's
know,
cringe
I've
content.
got to super agree with Dan Lloyd in the comments here. You know, the anarchist monarchy needs.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What? 5 months ago? What the fuck is he doing on this video?
That's a bit of an in-joke. I know who wrote that comment, and there's a bit of an in-joke. So you've inadvertently given him a shout-out.
It props to him, you know.
I mean, yeah, like, the guy's awesome, but, yeah. It was something to do with, like, basically the entire concept for this.
Oh, odds and bits and bobs too. Is that it?
No, Smart
No,
Water.
it's called Smart.
My odd sods and bits and bobs isn't actually okay series, boys. Alright? But I think the problem with the Smart Water video is it's not meant to be. There we go. Wakey's put it in.
Yeah. Like Ryan, I know you're a communist, but learn how to use YouTube.
Can we just
No,
all
I was
acknowledge
looking-
that we are using Meeting Room 1's text board to share memes? This is
I mean,
an
look, man,
amazing
you know.
use of my Discord.
Do
Boys.
you want me to blast the rest of the fucking Discord with this shit?
Oh, I don't. I think, to be fair, I think the Smart Water video is shared in here somewhere. But yeah, no, like, it's one of them videos that I meant as a serious video. Like, I'm gonna go on record now and say I meant this as a serious video because it did actually piss me off how Coca-Cola.
I should have 1,500 views.
You know what? I'll have to actually watch that at some point and see. You
It
probably make
actually
some
does
quite
piss
decent
me off how
points about.
Coca-Cola deals with Smart Water. Because like the deem it is this like amazing product, right? But it's not. It's just water, right? And I think that was the general consensus in the comments. It's just water. Why are you making a big deal out of it? It's like, okay, fine. You're missing the point of the video, but I can see why it's my fault. It's not their fault. And it's one of them videos that didn't quite pass the cringe level to like be so bad it's good. You know, like the Eurovision Song Contest songs that are so bad that they pass down through cringe and ascend up to godhood.
Yeah, man.
Like,
You know.
them type,
You,
like, there's only been a
you-
few. There's a few each year. But there's
you
just
got bad songs, you got good songs, and you got really bad.
Oh yeah, obviously. And again, back to the Brexit
Power level.
conversation. How's this going to go with Eurovision, boys?
Oh, I know. Big controversy, innit?
Are we going to be out of Eurovision?
I mean,
like,
let's face it. If we do actually leave, we can say goodbye to any fucking votes in Eurovision.
I mean, to
They
be fair,
already hate us enough as it is.
So here's an
Well,
amazing
that's
fact.
it, I mean-
Britain has won more times than the average country. We have won the Eurovision Song Contest 5 times.
Ah, brilliant. Good
Yeah.
for us. We've achieved
I mean,
something.
you say that, but they say, you know, on the will we leave Eurovision, but
Oh, we won't.
Eurovision isn't anything to do with the EU.
Oh, I know,
because,
it's a joke that's been going around that I've heard, like, around campus.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, oh,
Some
we're
people
going to leave
think it
Eurovision.
is part of the EU when there's countries like Turkey, Israel now are in the Eurovision and somehow won the last one.
Well, there was an amazing video that I watched about Eurovision. I'd link it in the description, but the video has been, like, DMCA'd by the Eurovision group. Even though it definitely falls under fair use. But it's just, like, him criticising Eurovision. It's like, it starts off with, like, the line, oh, I mean, the line's in, I don't know if it's, I can't remember if it starts off with it, but you get my point. Eurovision, that song contest that includes most of Europe, and for some reason countries that are nowhere near Europe. It's like Australia is in the Eurovision, they're in it every so often.
Well, we had to include Australia in something. It's not like they're really a continent. It's like them in New Zealand. Like, what are they going to do
It's not
just with
actually
those?
them in New Zealand, though, that's the thing. Eurasia is quite big.
Yeah, I'll be quite blunt. I geography.
Sorry, Eurasia or Australasia for you new boys.
So Eurasia is something completely different.
Yeah.
Eurasia is the continental plate of Europe and Asia.
I'm thinking of Australasia, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oceania.
That's the one.
Oceania.
Yeah,
Oceania.
Oceania's the
Yeah.
continent.
Australasia
Oh, I was...
is the island, I believe. Oceania is the continent.
See, this is why you get someone who actually knows what he's talking about on your group chat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I should stop talking when geography comes up. I'm still
same.
convinced.
Don't
I'm still
hold
not
me to
sure
that.
whether Manchester and Liverpool are like south or north of where I currently am. Pretty sure it's actually neither. I don't know anymore.
Yeah, just turns
Anyone
out
in
we're
the
a straight
comments?
line.
Where the fuck is anyone in the comments? Does anyone know where Cheshire is relative to Manchester? Fucking don't.
You could just Google this.
There is a wonderful thing called Google Maps, or even just a map.
To be fair, have you ever tried using Google Maps for an English road? Like, oh my
No,
god,
He's got a point.
sat-nav coverage around here is atrocious.
Oh,
Like,
that-
there is a reason paper maps still get sold here in, like, guest shops. Because you cannot trust Google Maps. Like, we have just like, I remember once I was in the Isle of Man, and we went to this, sort of like this niche little village in the Isle of Man to go see a guy who had, like, a professional glass blowing business. And to get there, was it Isle of Man or Jersey? One of the two, anyway. To get there, we had to go up a road that doubled back on itself on a 30-degree incline. This was the most effective route the sat-nav came up with. Like, do not trust sat-navs in England. If you are coming here on holiday, buy a map. That is my only advice to foreigners. Like, other than that, the country is pretty nice. Just
Yeah, and if you're not used to the way some of the roads work around here, I'll give you a little hint. And those roads where like there's a national speed limit, but it's like one lane, and there's hedges everywhere. And you're like, what happens if someone else comes the other way?
get killed.
Good luck. Yeah, you just die.
It's just how it works.
It's how we keep the population level steady.
Oh my god.
You just die.
Wait, instead of like China, where it's like you must only breed once.
Yeah.
Do you know-
Oh, I found out the answer to my question, by the way. Turns out Manchester and Liverpool are both north of Cheshire, which feels fake.
Fake news.
That doesn't feel right that they're like both
I
north.
found something quite interesting about China the other day. So, there is an issue in China that when all these people grow up that have been, like, part of the one-child system, because there was such, like, a social emphasis on male children, there is going to be an absolute metric crapload of, like, Chinese bachelors who
Yeah,
just
well, I
are
think,
never going to get married and have kids.
I'm going to say, I think there's like a ratio of, I can't remember.
Is it something like
I believe
5
it's
million
something like-
bachelors there's going to be, like, in excess of 5 million?
Possibly something like that. I think there is like a ratio of like 10 males to every female or something.
It's genuinely insane. Like,
Oh, I'm not.
But, I mean, the one-child law has been repealed in the last couple of years.
The way I'm seeing it is it might be a bit too late.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably will be.
Unless this was their original plan, the idea was to leave it going on too long, so you have a massive drop in population.
I mean, at the same time, like the Chinese populate. I mean, I don't think the plan was ever to let what has happened happen, but they were
Yeah.
concerned about overpopulation, which is quite fair.
It is a
Fair
difficult
concern.
issue to address.
But of course, the social stigma of well, the social value, so to speak, in China of having a son over a daughter, that dates back to the medieval times, feudal China.
Yeah.
It was there, and it was a problem. It's-
See, I've never really looked into the history of China. Like, it's one of them things. Like, it looks like it's been a very interesting country.
Oh yeah, no, the history there. The history is basically, you can play a game of is it unified, is it split? So,
Should we turn that into
medieval.
a drinking game on one podcast in the future?
but yeah, no,
What, just take a
if you
shot
go
every
through, basically,
Flip.
if you go through from say from 0 AD up to about the 1800s, pick a year and guess, is it unified, is it split? Because, well, that's what it kept doing.
Okay, on a serious note, when I am back at university, we are doing that. I'm gonna get just a bottle of booze, And we're gonna take a shot every time we're wrong.
Well, hey, I'm down for that.
Oh, same. Like, I need a good I need like
Yeah,
a
man.
reason to get pissed. I think like not advocating alcohol, obviously, because that would be, I think, against UK like consumer rights and laws for like advertising.
No, all you need to say is
Drink responsibly.
drinkresponsibly.com.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's Drinkaware, isn't it? It's
Oh, yeah, it's please
drinkaware.com.
drink responsibly and visit drinkaware.com.
Oh,
Yeah,
drink-
kids, just because everyone's telling you to, don't go out to clubs and get super drunk. Just sit alone in your flat with like a bottle of cider in your dad.
Was that
Wakey's guaranteed strategy to have a good time.
For real serious, advice is don't do an Andrew Dunn.
Who the
Yeah,
hell
no,
is
that
Andrew
is
Dunn?
what- yeah.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to explain. Like, I feel like that.
Yeah,
name I
come
really,
on, fill us
really
in.
know.
Former lecturer at the university who was a raging alcoholic, and he'd always sit in the corner of the Swan, the student pub.
Was that him? He kept
Yeah.
giving me creepy eyes.
Yeah, he was also notoriously like extreme right wing.
I mean, admittedly, he might
And
be
he
giving me
used
creepy
that.
eyes because I usually was in the Swan with women, but you know, I like
But
to.
yeah, no, like he had a habit of sitting upstairs in the corner, just drinking alone, and then up until closing time or something. And then,
I feel a bit sad for him now, you know.
I mean, he had a serious problem, and well, I mean, anyone that does basically social science, or at least sociology or social policy, who's read his book, well, his book's quite hilariously badly written.
Oh, what, like no ghostwriter on Earth could fix that kind of bad?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he falls into the classic kind of.
See, I feel kind of bad now because we are
falls into the
actually
anti-immigrant
taking the
paradox
piss out of a
of-
guy who has alcoholism.
Yeah, but are we mocking him for the alcoholism or because of his personal view?
I think
'Cause
either
one-
side is probably
Right.
wrong though. Like,
Mm.
let's keep this PC, boys. PC, alright?
Yeah. Okay,
Oh yeah, PC,
That's
PC.
what
I'm just saying, like, you're allowed to disagree with someone. Just be, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you're being cool about their, if
Yeah.
any issues they have, as long as you're not bringing them up in a negative way.
Like, no, I mean, to me, someone who's like politically charged and has alcoholism usually to me means that. Again, I'm speculating. It could be absolutely nothing to do with this, but like, it usually to me means that something's happened politically with them, and that's why like maybe they've become a social pariah or something because of their political beliefs. Like, I don't know. Could be either way. I mean, yeah, you see him. I mean, I frequent the Swan quite a lot. The Swan's a bar on campus, by the way. If you don't know. I mean,
Well, I'm
I
not
think,
telling you
I think
this, so-
96% of my viewers are from Lincolnshire, like, anyway.
Yeah, man. You know,
Like,
you
watch
know,
from
Lincoln.
Lincolnshire.
The campus is like what? 15% train track, 15% bar.
That's it's a bit conservative, you know. I think 15% train track.
Look, man, I did not succeed well in math.
I mean, seriously, who decided to put a train track through campus? Oh wait, they decided to build a university on top of a train track because that's better for some reason.
Look, how else are we going to keep morale up during exams?
Do you know that actually there's a massive problem in the labs when it comes to the trains. So we can't do crystallization like properly, like microcrystallization in the lab because of the trains.
Really?
Yeah, so like when I was doing like my drugs of abuse module, we had to be really quick when we were looking at like the crystallization of drugs. Because it's like if a train comes past, it just like knocked the fibers. Luckily, I think there was one train that day, and everyone had finished by that time.
Wait, what building are you in again? Is
So-
it one of the ones right by the track, or?
We are in the science building, which is the one that you know the bridge that goes over.
Yeah.
We're the one that's like as you're walking to the bridge, left of the bridge. Not art and
Why
design.
the-
Class art and design towards Pabs and the sports
Yeah.
centre.
So like, yeah, there are lecturers who've like said that this is a problem as well. Like, when they've been doing crystallization, like, that's the thing. But no, like it's a nice lab, all things considered. There's anything you need in there, to be fair. You know, it's well kitted. Like, it's not like Sheffield's lab. Like when I went for an open day there, I don't like that. I like it. Honestly, it's really brilliantly like everything you would need is there, but it's so old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Like from what I remember, they were still working on wood counters, and I don't know. I don't like the aesthetic of wood. Like-
So why did you choose not to go to this university? Honestly, I'd so agree aesthetically with the counters in the lab.
No, honestly, it's because I didn't get the grades.
It just clashes with my general look.
No, I didn't go to Sheffield because I didn't get the grades. Like,
Eesh.
but honestly, now I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I feel like I'm a true YouTuber going to Lincoln, you know?
Oh
I
yeah,
feel that's
you
the
know.
rite of
Gonna say,
passage.
we've got Tomska here, haven't we?
Ah,
Had Tomska here.
Oh,
what's he up to these days, anyway?
being slightly less
promotion.
depressed than he has been recently, but more depressed than he used to be.
Oh,
I guess.
shit, that's...
Well, I know he was making
Oh.
promotional videos for the uni, wasn't he?
Was it?
Well, yeah, that was like before he took off, like before I did a bunch of parody promotional videos.
After, he became big. The thing is, his channel.
Also, what I want to know is, right, so he got... I think it was the third one. It got taken down by the university for inappropriate use of copyright and infringing upon university rules or something. So, like, one of the rules that he broke was possession of firearms on campus. Does that mean
Yeah.
they changed that rule because of that video? Because if so, I feel like there's something that needs to change right back. You know what I mean? I feel like it needs to definitely change back.
Oh, we need that to carry on.
No, I mean the opposite. We don't need
You know
cameras.
what if the Swans start getting aggressive again? Then we'll be defenseless.
Again, yeah. What stops a good guy?
They'll
with
just overpower us. You know.
What stops a bad guy with a gun? Good guy with a gun, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. What stops a Swan?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Who cares?
Swan.
Who
If it wants you
cares?
dead, you're dead.
Who cares if he's on his fifth round? His fifth pint of Foster's had a double shot of vodka, and he's drinking Jaeger bombs with his friends just because they're paying. He can still operate a gun, right?
Yeah, man. Eventually, he'll aim in the right direction. You know, statistically speaking, he is likely to shoot someone.
Technically accurate, the best kind of accurate.
Yeah, man.
Wait. What, did he bring a firearm or something on campus? I didn't know that.
Okay, so he had I think it was a BB gun. To film one of the scenes in the show, in the advert. Because I don't know if you've seen it or not.
And University of Lincoln advert?
3, I think it is. So it's like zombies come on, so it's like shooting the zombies. But it's
Oh yeah, look at I just found it.
Yeah.
Thumbnail
So
all over.
what I remember, it's
Oh,
a
flash. Oh.
from what I remember, it's an unloaded BB gun, but under the university rules, that's still against them. Which is funny because we have an airsoft society now.
Well, I mean, there's the assassins who run around with Nerf guns, but obviously
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
a lot less.
No,
But,
I don't think you're going to be mistaken.
Yeah, I know,
stuff
but,
assassin
you know.
for-
I mean, the principles behind are the same.
Yeah, I guess.
And
But yeah, I mean, isn't airsoft the only society that doesn't have an election for their committee? Because for health and
Oh.
safety reasons, they have to have someone who's qualified.
Makes
They're not allowed to have a president who's never used an airsoft gun and doesn't know how to
You got
operate
the
it.
tabletop on an election this year, really.
Tabletop never has an election. Tabletop always just has I want to run. Alright, okay, cool.
yeah.
It's
like-
always VP though. VP is always the one that gets contested.
Well, you see, that's
Well, it
because
wasn't last year.
the people that do tabletop society, they don't want actual responsibility, but VP sounds like just enough responsibility that they can handle it.
That's why I'm for
I mean, to
community
say about
coordinator.
that, there was only one candidate last year for VP.
There's 2. You and Josh.
No, it was just me for VP.
Was it?
I mean, look, let's not pretend that the elections with some of the societies are that valid. Let's face it,
Oh yeah, I mean,
basically,
at the end of the day, the site.
Yeah, I
I
mean-
think we essentially assimilated
At the end,
game.
at the end of the day, as long
nobody-
as on your LinkedIn you can legally say was
Yeah.
democratically elected for this role, I don't care.
Come on.
But no, to be fair, I think of all the universities I've seen, I think Lincoln has the best societies.
Oh yeah, we've got some proper.
You can't knock the societies. I mean, some of them are a bit weird. For like, I mean,
think
like,
nothing
Yeah.
comes up from
from what I
Red
remember,
Sky.
there is a recent one that's just set up called the Fetish Society.
I don't want
Oh,
to know
yeah.
what that entails.
I do out of
There
sheer
is,
curiosity.
I know some people were actually in it.
I feel like it's not what we think it is.
I shiver with
Apparently, they don't actually
anticipation.
get up to that much. Unlike,
Good.
the thing is, it's based off of something from the University of York, because they have a fetish society, and I know someone who's in that.
Of course
they
you
do.
do, Ryan.
It's York.
No, there actually is a fetish society in the University of York.
What do they
And,
do though?
Apparently, they don't actually do that much.
So I can understand the
They
logic.
just
behind
talk
it.
about it.
Like, imagine like all it does is promotes like different sexualities and like
Yeah.
different types of sex and like
Yeah,
safe sex.
They mostly just talk about things from what I've heard
Oh.
from a mate up in York.
Next,
That's
you know,
like
sort of an open discussion on,
good bit, but yeah.
you know, all jokes aside, you know, it's probably a reasonably valid thing to have society for.
That said, again, coming from what I've told from a mate up in York, that the York University, that they did use the SU funds to buy themselves a rack for holding gimp suits, apparently. That they've never actually used.
I'm sorry, I feel like that was a political statement more than anything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well, I mean, apparently
yeah.
they've never used it, but they
Look,
it was
you know,
deemed
we
necessary that they had it.
yeah.
So
We-
the SU
We
paid
can
for it.
hardly say anything about, like, you know, funding and stuff as far as societies go. I mean, let's face it. Try and convince me that the whole matchmaking thing for D&D wasn't just funding.
Wasn't just what?
Like, how much the membership increased by because of the D&D thing.
Oh no. I forgot what the reason. I came up with the new version of matchmaking, which was modified from the last committee's version,
Yeah.
which was then like built upon from the previous. So, like every year, the matchmaking systems got
Yeah.
way more like in depth.
It gets improved every time. Like,
I mean,
Well,
I
I
keep
mean,
joking
the
that
problem-
eventually we're going to be able to sell it to like Match.com.
I'm
Like,
going to say the main problem though with the matchmaking we had this year though was there was what 5 DMs.
oh yeah.
yeah.
So those of you who don't know,
No.
I'm a massive nerd. These are also massive nerds. I know them from a tabletop society, which is as nerdy as it sounds.
Yeah, man.
If you have a problem with that, see my video on Geeks and Nerds.
Yeah, just think about Todd Howard and the chess club.
Eh?
I'd like to not think about Todd Howard whenever possible, really.
It just works.
Sometimes it just doesn't work is the thing now though.
Do you know, I think Todd Howard is the guy who's shared the most in our group chat. Like, I think
Wouldn't
Todd Howard
surprise me.
memes are the one thing that, you know, like, in the group chat are shared the most. 'Cause,
Really?
like, every time someone says something, Ryan always, like, anytime someone says something that's, like, vaguely not gonna work, Ryan goes, it just works. And I just put a meme under, like, a gif of Todd Howard.
I don't know, I'm pretty sure from the Facebook chat at least, the most common things are set list update and people vaguing about Elliot.
memes, I mean. Like, not
People
information.
vaguing about Elliot, does that count as a meme?
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it does. Oh, speaking of vaguing about him, he's messaging one of my other group chats suggesting we all like go on a game of something at like fucking 1:30.
Let's not shit talk someone who can't defend themselves, alright? It's not fair. Also, gotta keep this PC, boys. Gotta be PC.
Oh yeah, keep it PC, keep it, you know, under regulations and all that.
I've sworn about 50 times, but PC.
You know, we're representing.
We've actively encouraged the idea of a drinking game to find out whether China has been like occupied or not. But PC, boys, PC.
No, unified.
Unified, that was it.
Unified or split.
PC, boys, PC.
Oh, you know, come on, we're gonna keep it going. Controversial opinions on things. Let's go.
Oh, well, if that's the case, the next topic we've got is Elon Musk and his pedo. I've put joke. Elon Musk pedo joke. How do you feel
It's
about
not
that?
really a joke.
So, like,
He got
the next topic.
He got upset because the guy that rescued all these kids from this situation said that Elon Musk was just in it for the publicity, because Elon Musk sort of went, "Oh, I'll save the day," and then accomplished nothing of worth. So Elon Musk got
Well,
pissy
apparently, like, he
and called him a
offered-
paedophile on Twitter.
I don't understand the
said, "Do you
train of
have-
thought for. I'm sorry, that's gonna go on it. So like, just going back to the Todd Howard thing, just for context.
Oh, just seeing.
Sorry, I had to take the time to find that.
Yeah, just going back to Todd Howard for context. Just gonna throw up the next image on the thing. So
Because you never know when you'll need a spare hand. That's what he said when advertising blades. And then everyone laughed and he called them degenerates. I had to.
Sounds about
I can't find a good place to put him. There we go. Can't. So we got just because these guys can't actually see the current video. So currently we have Farage next to Todd Howard saying degenerates. I feel like that's quite fitting.
Look, I know this one isn't quite relevant, but if we're having Farage on the screen, we need to move for representation.
That's Legionary Howard.
Yeah. Okay. So for let's get back on topic. All right. So Elon Musk and his joke in inverted commas. How do you think he should have reacted? Let's start with.
Well, I mean, for starters, don't call some rando a paedophile on Twitter.
He's not rando though, is he? Isn't he like from what I've heard, like from accounts, he was like an ex-SS, like ex special force.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he's
He's like not even a rando.
He's an excellent. He saved a bunch of children from this situation. That Elon Musk
is a British expat who lives in Thailand.
That's about the Thailand thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure he was someone who's very much experienced with those caves. Like that guy, fucking great bloke. You know, amazing guy. Elon Musk, whiny pisser.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh god, no, I've just put in something I probably shouldn't have put into Google.
What, Elon Musk pisshead?
No, I just put in Elon Musk paedophile.
Oh god.
Just trying to get the story on this.
I mean, hey, he's a rich American that owns a company. Statistically,
he owns not just one company though, does he? He owns a bunch of companies. Like he was an original founder of PayPal. Like that's how he made his money.
Oh shit! I can't talk shit about Elon Musk publicly. Fuck my PayPal.
Oh yeah, let's not forget the boring company, boys. If you flamethrowers.
He's so hip with the kids. Look at his ironic names for poorly thought out public transport.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think it's meant to be ironic. I actually think he meant it to be called the boring company, since that is what they do.
Yeah.
I don't think Elon Musk, especially given this new...
Is it Elon Musk that's doing this whole thing where he's trying to come up with new public transport ideas, but all he's really doing is reinventing things like the bus, but making them work?
No, Elon Musk is reinventing the gun. So you're on about HyperX, aren't you? Is it HyperX or Hyperloop or something like that? It's Hyper something, because edgy.
Why do all of his company names sound like something a 13-year-old would think are cool?
He is like appeal to millennial the person, isn't he?
He is, and not in the good way.
No.
But then again, I mean, if you've seen the thing where it's like, oh yeah, Marx was actually a capitalist. He even wrote a book about it.
I haven't seen that.
Look, not to get too fan, like I was going to really respect the opinions of a guy whose name is Musk. I'm sorry.
He did a big Twitter tirade about how he's a socialist and how he's also a capitalist and how Marx was actually a capitalist and wrote a book about it. And you just look at it like, what?
Was this the same Twitter rant where he said people were calling him billionaire as a slur?
Yeah, to be fair, they actually were. They were insulting him by saying billionaire. And he's like, no, he's just made a lot of money because he was good at his job. I can't say is, because I feel like every time he tweets something, the stock prices for Tesla and the Boring Company just plummet.
It's the same thing with Bezos though. He's done a lot to make a really successful company, but you can't own that much money in good conscience. There's so much you could do with that money to help people, and it would basically impact you nothing. You can't morally have that much.
No, he charges workers to take a piss.
Oh yeah, also, Amazon's
Do you want to
horrible treatment of their work.
add Amazon to the top?
We're on the topic now.
Right, so
they don't pay tax in half the countries they operate.
Well, they do. What is it? The double Irish with a Dutch sandwich or something? Or the double Dutch with an Irish sound. I forgot what the actual expression.
They don't
Basically,
they don't
just
pay
don't
enough
pay
tax in most. Yeah, they don't pay tax. They pay their workers dick all, and yet somehow we're supposed to think it's like down their merit that they're a fucking $1 trillion company. Whatever the hell it is. It's like no, because you're a shithead.
You don't get money without the little guy. The problem is, I
Yeah.
feel like he is at such a point now where even if he went, right, okay, let's give all these workers actual human rights. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like, there are accounts of workers here in the UK who, like you say, are basically charged to take a piss.
I'm going to
Like-
say it's like the 1 minute 30 rule. If you're
Yeah,
away from
they're
your station
timed on their
for
toilet
1 minute
break.
30, you get stopped from your pay.
Which I argue is fundamentally against, like, EU workers' rights laws, but it might not be. I am not a
Absolutely
lawyer.
is.
Yeah.
He only gets away with it mainly because of his wealth. People are scared to take him to court over it.
Then again, the EU's taking Google to court for the largest largest thing, aren't they? Like, what do they call it?
Tech firm.
No,
Yeah.
as in like amount of money.
Fortune 500?
No, like amount of money being effectively he's been sued for the most amount of money.
Oh.
It's the most
yeah.
amount of money that's ever been.
Well,
sued
to
for
be fair,
in
you
EU
know,
court.
Yeah.
it makes sense because they're such a rich company. Like if fines and suing weren't for amount, based on how wealthy the thing you're suing is, it
Yeah.
just wouldn't mean anything. It's like I know there's some European countries where like stuff like speeding fines are like proportional to wealth.
That is
Like,
somewhat
just
of a
sort-
clever idea.
Yeah, it just makes sense because
I am
otherwise
not
you've got
opposed to that idea.
people that have tons of money going. Well, it's not really illegal. You just got to pay like 50 quid to speed, and that doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, because at that point the law becomes a function of your wealth,
Yeah.
as opposed
Hmm.
to the
And
law.
if they keep it proportional, it means it's just as much of an impact. So regardless of who's the one getting punished for it.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I am. I like the ideas of a company being charged next to nothing anyway. Like in tax, I'm just like that kind of dickhead. But I am not actually against that idea. I quite like the idea of like wealth based on like a fine based on your wealth. I quite like that idea. I mean, I'm sure there's logistical reasons why it's not possible, but like on a large scale. But I mean, like you couldn't do it for a speeding ticket, for example, because you wouldn't know how much that person's earning, like that, would you? Unless you had some kind of national citizenship, like public earnings, like
There's some
database.
countries do.
See, I don't like that. It infringes on civil liberties to me. Like if you
I'll try and find it.
Alright, sound. But yeah, so do you think that billionaire should be used as a slur then, Wakey, based on that then? Do you feel like billionaire is a slur or not?
I mean, I have definitely seen enough cases of it being used in a negative light.
But do you think
I guess-
having money is a negative thing?
I think there is definitely a point where it becomes just sheer excess.
Yeah.
Like there is a easily provable, if you ask someone that knows a bit more about how money works in numbers than me, point where money really stops being impactful at all. Like you can't really these incredibly rich people, they can't physically spend the funds they have. It's for them to run out of money.
Well,
pretty much ever
Bezos
again.
is so wealthy that his wealth actually fluctuates based on interest. Like, he can change a couple of $1 billion a day because of interest. He is at that level of wealth. He is the richest man in like modern history, isn't he?
It just becomes
Yeah.
a thing where, like, you look at some of the issues that countries have, like, issues with homelessness and poverty and all that, and it's like, you can't look at that and then look at somebody else in the same country having such an overwhelming amount of money and think not
Yeah, but
something wrong with
Equally, Wakey, you can teach a man to fish, or you can give a man the fish. Like, you can't just give a homeless man loads of money. Right?
No, I
doesn't work.
agree
no,
with that.
that's not what you propose. So, I mean,
It's
you've got the
Norway's
issue
where
right now.
tax returns are public.
So you've got the issue right now that between 8 people, I believe it is controlled 50. 8 people control 50% of the world's total wealth. Well, that to me
Yeah.
screams
That's a
something.
lot of money.
Yeah,
That screams something is horribly wrong. And I mean,
it becomes a thing where they have so much
people
power in terms of how much money they have to throw around, how much influence they have, that things that need to be changed to benefit, people that are struggling, people at a disadvantage, aren't going to, because the people that have the power to actually make that change, well, why would they care? It doesn't benefit them. Often it negatively affects.
Christ. Oh, yeah. Ruffy's just shared a post from Vox about Norway, and you can look up your neighbours' tax returns and income on the. I don't know. I'm not in favour of that.
I mean, I suppose to an extent, transparency in terms of that is a thing, but in a lot of ways that's a bit.
But what point?
How
is that useful?
For one thing, I don't know if this is exactly the same. I'm trying to skim this now. But there's the old adage about how the only person that benefits from you being quiet about how much you earn is the person paying you.
True.
Because it means your colleagues don't know that if they're being paid fairly.
Yeah, but okay. So for argument's sake, me and you are neighbours, right? And I'm doing.
If it's all kept to a shush, the only person that benefits is whoever gets to decide how much you're paid.
Yeah, but okay. So let's say me and you are neighbours, for argument's sake.
And I suppose transparency in that way lets
Anyway, I'm losing connection here. No. Yep. There we go. I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
So I heard we've got everything you've said. I think you were promoting transparency, yeah? And, like the only person who benefits is the business, right? So let's, for argument's sake, say that me and you are neighbours, right? And you're doing your business in computer design and games development and whatnot, and I'm doing my chemical business. How does it benefit you to know what I'm earning?
Yeah, that is
how does it benefit
I think
me
it maybe
to know
is a bit just too much. Yeah, I think in those contexts, I can't see the immediate benefit of having that level of transparency.
Unless for whatever reason I'm setting up
I would say this: you can see who looks up your tax returns. You can. Because you go on an account, so you can see everything.
I think that's the idea behind it. It's a check on tax evasion, which is a major problem throughout Europe and North America.
It's a major problem everywhere.
That sort of makes sense, because it means that it's not like they can just miss it or they can fail to notice. Because if you're blatantly paying less tax than you should be, and it's public, someone will notice. Someone will get nosy, and that'll look.
Huh. Yeah, fair enough. So, I get the logic behind transparency. I feel like I need to sneeze. So if I randomly mute myself, you know why?
Just
to save the people at home.
Get that full ASMR experience.
I'm not that kind of. ASMR goes through me. It physically makes me cringe. I don't like sounds that close. It's weird. I don't know. Can you guys cope with ASMR? Is it a thing you enjoy?
I wouldn't say I enjoy it.
Because it's supposed to be relaxing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
on edge.
a few times I tend not to. I've not really messed around with it much, but I think the few times I've seen it, it's sort of I don't know. I sort of zone out and sort of just. You know what I mean?
See, I can't zone out if someone's talking like that to me. Because I'm on edge.
You see, the thing is, I get the same sort of feeling I get when someone's just talking to me and explaining to me, and I'm sort of just zoned out listening to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just a minute.
Sort of past weird.
Oh, I think that cough was so loud it just came through on my computer backup microphone. So that's nice. Great. I've got I think I must have some kind of sore throat or something in the middle of summer. I don't know how that's possible.
This heat's been cooking your throat. There you go.
Yeah. It sounds.
Going back to the whole thing with billionaires and whatever.
Wait, is that Ryan actually keeping us on topic?
Oh my god.
Well, obviously, I've already said, I'm a Marxist. It's a thing that obviously is close to me, but I mean, a great example of a thing though is of people, the richest just not really wanting to do their bit and try and force everyone else to pay their way. A great example of that, at least in Britain, I don't know how common it is in say America, but the McDonald's and the McDonald's house thing where they ask their customers, to pay a bit more to go to our charity for helping, I don't know, what is it, homeless and disabled?
Okay, in fairness, before Ryan continues, the Ronald McDonald Charity does genuinely help people who are like homeless.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that it probably does help people.
Actually, really effective charity, from what I know.
I don't doubt that it actually does help people, but the thing is, you look at how much money McDonald's as a company makes. They could easily fund it of their own accord.
But should they have to?
Well, if they can, if they truly cared, you'd think that maybe they would, rather than ask for, the extra money from their patrons.
What you're doing now is treating companies as people. You're saying that a company should have to pay. If the CEO for McDonald's wants to.
Well,
which I no doubt imagine he already does.
The company is the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think in a way you get the same sort of argument with like environmental issues. Like people treat it like as if it's individual people responsibility, when really the biggest is made from the company. Like fucking Asda or something giving you a recyclable bag, or like ask careful your waste. Like that's not fucking impacting shit. The amount of stuff they throw away when they get deliveries, that's impacting.
Then again, you say this, but I have seen, I don't know if it was a news story from I can't remember where it was from, but you are now going to be able to take back your plastic bottles and receive a small amount of money back.
Well, I'm going to say that's a thing that's been around in Europe for ages.
Yeah, it's been a thing that's been around in certain campuses in the UK as well.
I'm going to say, I was in Berlin a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh, look at you.
Courtesy of the university, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that trip.
Yeah. But I'm going to say, you'd often see a lot of people there going around the streets just looking for, leftover bottles that they could just take to a recycling place and get money from.
Then again, imagine if you are homeless. That's a quick and easy way of making some money.
Yeah.
So that could be your way of earning enough food to eat, enough money to eat. I'm not saying that's necessarily a good solution. I'm just saying that is a solution.
Oh no, it's a benefit, but it's not the solution to homelessness. Definitely.
It's not a full solution on its own. Yeah,
it's a nice side effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that idea. I think that should be rolled out. It's there was a study by I think it was Sky who found out that most of our drinking water contains way too much microplastic. To an actually defective point of our health, your standpoint from our health.
Well, it comes down to a lot of the time I think it's part of the bottles break down into microparticles. Yeah. Then again, something I saw, the biodegradable plastics that you shouldn't actually use them because most of them, they don't actually just degrade, they just split into microparticles. And
so from what I remember from my green chemistry, I can't quite remember everything, and I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me, but the idea is that they are more easily able to be broken up by both friction rubbing and sunlight, and through heat and whatnot. So the idea is that the bonds are broken easier. So you'll put different additives in them to break them easier, but they still break down into microplastics, like you were saying, which is fine if it's in a landfill, but not fine if you're throwing it. If you've gone for a barbecue on a beach, for argument's sake, and you take in one of them disposable bottles you use in a Morrison's or an Asda bag or a Tesco or any other supermarket is valid. Hashtag not spawn. And you just leave that plastic bag there because A, you're a lazy shit, or you just genuinely forget. Like, that will go into the waste, that will go into the ocean, that'll be broken down, that'll injure the sea life, which then has a negative, like a butterfly effect to us. Like, that small drop of that plastic will lead to, like, fish dying and, like, actually affecting the amount of food we have to eat.
Oh yeah.
Save the British fish and chips. If nothing else.
But yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to say, the thing with bioplastics as well is it sort of encourages littering, because you can do it and think, oh yeah, no, it's not too bad because it'll break down, And I've seen questions that have been raised recently over whether they actually will, but, so instead of actually keeping your plastics with you, just take to a recycling plant or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that here in Britain, I mean, it's kind of a postcode lottery on recycling.
Yeah,
here
so
in
like,
Lincoln, in Lincoln you get 2 recycling bins.
So
you get a bin of recycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where I'm from, we can't recycle glass in county.
Oh wow, really?
We have to ship the glass. So, yeah. Like I said, it is a postcode lottery on like levels of recycling. 1 minute.
Yeah.
At the same time, I mean, where I'm from, you're kind of overloaded with recycling bins. So you've got your black bin for general waste, then you've got a green bin for like garden waste, a little blue box for plastics and glass, little green box, metal and glass, sorry, green box for paper, and a black box for plastics.
Oh wow,
that's quite a lot.
A bit more than we have over here.
We have
we got
we have a blue bin and a green box. That's about it. Oh, and a green bin.
We got what, like the black bin for general waste, the big green one for like plant waste.
Yeah.
For garden waste.
Yeah, we got 2 sort of biggest boxes, I think red and green, for recyclables, and then we got like a small food waste bin.
We don't have the food waste. Well, I say that when it goes into general waste.
No, I don't have a food waste one.
Yeah, I don't actually know why we have, because I don't know what we do with the food waste bin. I can't remember if that's emptied into one of the other bins, or we just have them for some fucking reason, or if they're actually separate. I don't know. I've never really paid attention to that one.
It's all for that plastic cheese.
That what, plastic cheese?
Or is it rubber?
Well, I don't know which one it is, but the one from McDonald's is inflammable.
Well, and again, McDonald's food doesn't even break down. There's so much salt in it.
It's disgusting, McDonald's food. But no, like, honestly, dark
Doesn't stop us going there
dark
every
humour
week.
aside, do you know, if we'd have padded the Grenfell building with McDonald's cheese, it would have actually been safer.
Oh, we couldn't have this without at least one Grenfell joke, could we?
I say that as a joke, but that genuinely is less flammable. And that's how shockingly flammable the padding was.
Yep.
Like cheese is less flammable than it. That wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
It just came across as one. But yeah, like, Christ, seriously, get a lighter and take it to McDonald's cheese. It melts, but it doesn't set fire.
I'll be honest. That is one thing I don't plan on doing in a McDonald's anytime soon. But you never know. Honestly, there's enough near me that I can afford to get banned from one of them. I'll give it a shot.
No, you take it out.
Yeah, take it out. You just order like some cheese.
Go into the street.
What you do, right?
Look, man, what the hell is 24-hour good for if not setting fire to folks in the store in the middle of the night?
That's what it's for.
It's fine. Me nearest one's in Winsford. No one will question it.
Speaking of McDonald's, I recently tried the fish fillet.
Oh.
Fillet of fish.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who the hell cares? It's fish.
Yeah, well...
Oh, actually, just quickly, in Berlin, I didn't actually go into Mackey's, but they get them a McRib.
Oh, right. You mean the thing that's not actually pork?
I guess I know where I'm going.
The McRib
Look, no one
is-
cares what meat McDonald's food actually is. No one has.
Well,
Look,
you know,
even at the height of the whole, ooh, do you know what they put in those thing with chicken nuggets? Nobody ever stopped eating them, did they?
Yes, they did.
Never make it-
clip, isn't there?
They did actually stop eating them.
Oh,
a little
really?
bit. And it genuinely prompted
Yes,
McDonald's
it
to
was-
go to like a more clean meat, if you will.
Well, yeah, didn't they have like that massive ad campaign not long ago? It was entirely centered around, yeah, here's actually what goes in the food.
But
Oh yeah, well, I mean, there was the big McDonald's campaign of, oh yeah, no, don't trust the food scientists, don't trust those independents. Look, our advert says our food is fine, therefore it's fine. You can eat our food; it's perfectly safe. You know, you just kind of watch it like,
McDonald's do no longer include all the crap in chicken McNuggets. Alright?
Yeah.
They are actually just chicken. They're
I
no
mean, I'm
longer,
pretty sure they wouldn't be able to get away with all the constant like 100% this stuff on their labels.
they could say
Well, no,
100%
advertising
chicken.
stuff if they actually
They
did.
would be allowed to say 100%
Oh yeah, they
chicken.
could.
the fact though was that their supplying company that they actually own was called 100% British and Irish beef.
Oh,
I thought that was like illegal in UK law.
No,
it
but,
is.
you know, so
I know
that's
it's
what
legal in Australian law.
Look, man, who's gonna tell that to McDonald's? They probably have a higher income than your country. You know?
Christ, that's kind
Yeah,
of
so
depressing but
seeing all
true.
their adverts in Britain, they say our meat is,
Yeah,
our food comes from, is 100% British and Irish beef.
yeah.
And I don't know how sure it is, but apparently it was actually just the name of their company that supplied it. 100% British and Irish beef.
See,
Oh,
I like
I've got
to
to look
think
this up now.
that's false. I want to think that's false.
It's not gonna affect me. I only eat the chicken products anyway.
I mean, I like a big tasty every now and again. I like a big tasty. Or some chicken like selects. Do you know what I find kind of messed up though? Like, have you been to KFC in like recently?
No, I haven't, because the one in Northwich is the lowest rated KFC in the country.
Doesn't really take much.
It's been done up a bunch of times, but it's still worst KFC in England because it is that. I've got to admit, it used to work. It's dodge as fuck.
Oh. But no, so what I found quite interesting is taste chicken selects compared to whatever the KFC equivalent is.
Oh dear,
McDonald's
I've
is
clicked on
better.
the thing and now McDonald's wants to know my location.
Yeah, why not?
They're after you. Okay, now according to Snopes, no matter how trustworthy Snopes is anymore, but nope, that's not a thing. It's just general. It is not. They don't have a company called that.
So can confirm, as far as we are aware, McDonald's does include 100% British
According
and Irish
to my
beef
sources,
in the UK.
Snopes and McDonald's website, they're fine.
Yeah, so I
Don't
just
know how-
clicked on McDonald's website and I mean they're just there like, oh yeah, it has to raise a question. One, they're having to say, oh yeah, no, look, we're fine. Look, don't trust these
Well,
stories.
to be fair, apparently there's been like circulations of that sort of comment about all sorts for years. Because people just don't trust big ass companies, usually for good reasons. Sometimes just because.
Yeah. Well, it's like any company. Any company's got their flaws, but they always provide, or should always provide, a service that we want to pay for.
You know what? Actually, I take back my comment from earlier about my area where I live not having anything it's known for. It has two things: old salt mines and the worst KFC in England.
Oh no, don't talk about KFC because we ran out of chicken.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, there was a chicken shortage in the UK. I think it's still
It
ongoing,
wasn't
isn't
actually
it?
a shortage. It was
Really?
they changed to DHL to do deliveries, and they ran the
They ran
timing
out.
was off on it.
Yeah.
Oh god. I've just decided to Google this about our local KFC. Average TripAdvisor rating of 1.5.
God. Still better than
I'm
your
still
average
finding
nursing
any
home.
news on it. Still better. Oh god, there's an article from 2014 about it being prosecuted for selling undercooked food.
Oh! Okay,
oh,
just
there's
because
an
we
article
don't...
from the there is an article from this. This might not be related actually to the Sun. Let me.
I mean, it is the Sun.
It is. God, that either. Okay, no, that's from Arkansas. Thanks for showing a Google search and use it.
Arkansas, that's a state in America, isn't it, that place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that's called Arkansas.
Oh, of course, because Americans can't spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
So
there's the state of Kansas, and then you put AR in front of the spelling of Kansas, and you get Arkansas.
well, at the very least, there's nothing I can find immediately about that KFC having a maggot problem. But,
Oh my god!
but according to TripAdvisor, it is constantly filthy and constantly out of stock on things. It's a bit trash.
So basically, if you're in his area, keep going
Well, I
until you
love
get to
Brando, it's
the
great.
McDonald's in Liverpool. Sorry, the KFC in Liverpool, even.
Oh, wow, that one.
I mean, I'm pretty sure in Liverpool there's more than one KFC.
Yeah.
There is, but I'm thinking of the one I think it's by Albert Dock, or is that? I'm thinking of the McDonald's.
I don't know, man. I'm only really familiar with the Lime Street area of
First.
Liverpool.
See, I'm quite familiar with Albert Dock, but I can't remember restaurants.
That
I
kind of
mean, what's
reminds
it
me of
like? My notice of Liverpool is basically just the path from Lime Street to my locals. You're gonna fucking Liverpool for a local.
When you have to take a train to
Yeah, I screwed myself over the other day because I decided I was going to go into the locals, booked my ticket, went, wait, shit, it's the sneak peek.
I'm just moving some images around. Sorry about this
Yeah,
chat.
I'm not paying 20 quid fucking this current sneak peek card. It's like kind of not worth it.
I may have accidentally
But
moved.
of course, Train Line never gives you a full refund stuff, so I ended up paying
God,
7
no,
quid.
don't even start on that.
I just paid 7 quid to do nothing.
Oh god.
Don't even start me on
I
train
forgot it
line.
was the sneak peek. Oh,
KFC
that was
still reminded me. Look at that Urban Dictionary.
not my proudest moment.
I'm not sure who that's on, to be honest. I think that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely on you.
It's definitely on me. They should have checked.
You should put Urban Dictionary around town.
Oh god, I've got an Urban Dictionary map.
I've got to do
Okay.
this now.
So for the sake of legal reasons, I'm not going to put what Adam just
Yeah.
showed.
Let's
Because I
see.
feel like I might get sued by that town. Oh, Christ. But yeah, so should we go back to the original topic that we were talking about, which was Elon Musk, as opposed to chatting shit about KFC?
I will do, but I've just Urban Dictionaryed my hometown, and it's tagged with pasty pusher and knives.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I can't even properly dispute that one, to be honest. Hasn't been in a long time, but man, it's past photo.
So
it
yeah,
is.
anyway, back to the whole Elon Musk thing. Speaking of
Oh yeah,
Elon
good old
Musk,
musky boy.
Speaking of Elon Musk and controversial Twitter opinions, James Gunn getting fired.
Oh.
As in, Guardians of the Galaxy, director James Gunn.
Yeah. You'd actually been looking over this, hadn't you? What was it
A
about
little
again?
bit, right? So, it was something along the lines of he was in... I can't remember, right? Let's have a look. So, he was either insulting someone or what. Basically, he was talking extremely non-PC. And this is a good Christian channel, alright? So, we will talk PC.
No swearing in our Christian like.
I don't even know where that meme comes from anymore. Like, where does good Christian channel come from?
I don't know.
Minecraft server, wasn't it?
Oh, is that what
Oh,
it was?
yeah. Hang on. Let's see if we can.
I'm sorry, that was just made the cut. That's getting put on. Congratulations, you have made the list. The list is a place you want to be.
Oh. Oh. I mean, what was it? I had a brief Google, and wasn't it something to do with making a bunch of pedophilia jokes or some shit on Twitter?
Oh, so he's tweeted
James
at Peter
Gunn
Alton. I don't know who that is, to be honest. I'm not exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so he's made a lot of pedophilia jokes. Like,
I think, if anything, like, it's just Disney trying to be very brand conscious about who's associated with.
But at the end of the day, who was Disney opened by? Like, founded by?
Yeah, like some of the other Disney films.
Like, who's founded by Walt Disney? Like, the guy who is definitely not.
Yeah, but Disney are, at least, especially after all these...
Okay. Yeah, I'll give Disney a pass.
They're very much worried about their image.
But if that's the case, you go for a job, right? What is the first thing your employee does? They look through your social media history, right?
Yeah, it should have been on them when they first, got in talks with them about sorting. It shouldn't be now.
Why now?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I suppose maybe all this, the amount of recent celebrities, especially in Hollywood, had like sexual abuse or pedophilia allegations, has made them sort of crack down a lot more on just making sure they're not associated with anything like that. But,
I guess, but I still feel like this should have been a long time ago. We've had 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies done by this guy, alright? 2.
Yeah.
A bit too late.
So yeah, I'll be honest, I feel super shitty to say this, but it's honestly kind of a shame that he's been kicked out now, because let's face it, the Guardians movies are some of the best standalone films.
Yeah.
And I feel super shitty.
Why do you feel shitty for it? Like, you can comment on something's merit.
Because I'm essentially going, oh no, he got in trouble for something that, yeah, you kind of should have gotten in trouble for, but it's going to impact the thing I like, so it's bad. You know what I mean?
I see it. The way I was
like
reading into that was
being...
you were commending him on his achievements while also criticising him for his failures. And I should be a politician.
Well,
Well, you could always study politics like me.
Oh, I sod that one.
It's
I'd rather not. Do you know what I mean? It's politics.
It's fine, mate. Just become a popular YouTuber, then eventually use your newfound fame to throw your platter around in politics. How it's working out great for what's his face?
Who?
I don't know. Whichever one of those right-wing YouTube guys is now like getting buddy with UK.
Which one of them all?
Exactly. Just try and hop on with the rest of the enlightened centrist rational and enjoy your newfound position as a totally legitimate politician.
Also, just a moment, I need to let the podcast people know that the entire Meeting Room 1's text board is being filled with good Christian server memes.
I mean, there's 2.
Oh, God, I didn't notice that.
I don't think that's going to be the last, though, is it?
Well, I think that might be one of the original images.
Oh, God.
That started it.
It is, yeah, that's definitely...
I really hope the images load properly, because if they don't, this is going to look really bloody embarrassing.
It's fine, man. Just put one in post if they don't.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's going to take me a good... I mean, the thing is like 3 hours long already. It's going to take me a good 3 hours to edit it. And by edit,
we've been talking for 3 hours.
Oh, God, yeah.
Probably.
Oh, shit.
So I think we should probably get back on topic. So, on the James Gunn topic, bit of a dark joke, but who do you think's next? Which famous person in Hollywood do you think's going to be next to get fired over this sort of shit?
Okay, it's not exactly over this sort of shit, but Scarlett Johansson has lost any bit of public good faith she's had over her last few casting involvement. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people giving her shit.
See, I've not really seen much from Charlotte Engine. Like,
it might be because I'm seeing this shit being talked Tumblr.
See,
so.
It's because it was to do with trans rights and
It's
trans
because of all her home. She's involved with a film where she's supposed to be portraying a gender person, and it's a really dodgy portrayal of them. She's been having shit for appearing as a whitewashed version of non-white characters in other films. All these roles she seems to be completely fine taking, despite being super dodgy. Like, her publicity is not doing well.
So, do you think she's gonna be the next one to like sort of be fired and fade into obscurity?
I could, if something big happens, I could see that happening. Because let's face it, she's not as big and a popular of a name as she used to be now for all this.
Yeah. I suppose. Like, what was the last thing?
And no offense, but like the character she plays with Marvel is hardly the most interesting character in the setting. Now we've got like actual women in starring roles.
Yeah, to be honest,
I'm
quite enjoying like cinema as of late. Like,
yeah, the only big thing that Black Widow had in terms of popularity was that she's a girl character.
Yeah, but she wasn't. She was breast stock character.
She was, and what I'm saying is her popularity with a lot of demographics was only because oh hey, there's a girl in the event.
Yeah.
I hope she gets some actual screen time with herself.
But like now we've got the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, what's the point? She doesn't really bring anything to the table with real meaning anymore.
But it's like, I don't know. I think there's some. See, I don't know if it's gonna be Scarlett Johansson that's gonna be the next to get fired. I think she's got a few more in her.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be someone that none of us are gonna expect. I think it's going to be Chris Pratt.
Really?
Yeah. I think Chris Pratt's going to have done something. And none of us know. It's just going to all come out. Because he's so likeable. He's so likeable, right?
It's always the really likeable one.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know though, because I've seen him on the good side of a lot of stuff recently. Well, like, oh god, who the hell?
I think I've lost you again.
Oh.
I think you were saying you've seen him in a lot of good stuff recently.
I've seen a lot of good publicity around him recently. I'm trying to remember who the hell this actress is with on some film. Oh, I'm blanking on her name now.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yes, Jennifer Lawrence.
I know my women actors, I am.
Yeah.
I know them.
I just keep remembering back to that fucking interview they had after some film they'd done, where Jennifer Lawrence joked about like accidentally like destroying like a spiritual monument or something when they were in Hawaii, and the fucking look Chris Pratt was giving her across the sofa when she was talking about this. It was a face of like both disgust and restrained anger. Because if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure he like lived in that area for quite a while. So I can find it.
Yeah, if someone's free and gets that image, that'd be great. Oh my god, is that true? Like, oh my god.
I'm pretty sure it's the.
He's definitely the good guy of Hollywood, isn't he? Or he tries to be, at least. I don't know whether I don't know. I've not really seen that much of him. I've seen him in like the new Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or whatever they're called. I've seen him in that. I've seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's about it. So like all the big stuff he's been in.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to find a picture of him where it shows it, but it was where she was talking about how she knocked over a bunch of sacred Hawaiian rock, scratching her ass on them.
Oh my god.
And she,
I think I remember
she said this as if it was like a quirky, funny story.
She's like.
Also, apparently endangered several members of cast and crew who were almost hit by them.
Oh. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. If you're wondering why no one seems to like Jennifer Lawrence anymore, that's probably why.
So is that? Do you think she could be the next one then?
She even in anything?
She was in that Detroit Becoming Human.
Exactly.
That what was that
Look,
game?
the moment you start David Cage game, that's when you're just gone.
You say that, but Ellen Page has been in a few Netflix originals.
That's because David Cage has a creepy sexual fascination with Ellen Page.
So Ryan, your mic's going again.
Huh? Oh, is Mike locking up again?
Yeah. What's wrong with Ellen Page?
It's not anything wrong with her, but I'm pretty sure isn't there like a controversy where he had a 3D model of her naked made without her permission for one of his games or something? Because he modeled a character like pretty much spot on her.
He wanted to have that, but she refused to go naked for a scene. Which is quite ironic when she went naked for the next scene, like the next movie she did.
I'm pretty sure wasn't that character modelled after her even before she signed on to this?
I'm not entirely sure.
David, I don't know.
It's a
Long
long
story
time
short,
since I've
David
played
Cage.
Beyond Two Souls.
David.
And I was like that one guy who liked it. I actually quite like Beyond Two Souls. And I don't know why.
No, apparently Chris Pratt voiced Emmett in the Lego movie as a random.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, did you not know that?
I didn't.
No, I don't really follow much Hollywood anyway.
Neither do I. I have almost no idea who celebrities are.
Yeah, but you're obsessed with Tumblr.
You're the one talking about all this right now. I'm silent. So
Look, dickhead. Are you aware that Tumblr by design is just a massive system of echo chambers, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because of how it's designed, it just naturally becomes a series of echo chambers no matter what you do. So, yeah.
Bloody Tommy Bucket.
So it's either going to be Scarlett Johansson, Chris Pratt, or Jennifer Lawrence. And I don't know who it's going to be. I don't want it to be Chris Pratt because I quite like him.
Yeah. I can easily see Jennifer Lawrence doing something stupid again and then admitting it on live TV like it was a quirky story.
Well, wasn't it the Oscars that she went to where she was just absolutely rat-arsed?
Probably.
She's just like, oh yeah, I'm rat-arsed. And it's like, this isn't a professional, thing. This is not
Yeah,
just...
I mean, at least it was the Oscars and respectable award ceremony.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Jennifer Lawrence drunk at Oscars. Jennifer Lawrence climbs over chairs with wine in hilarious.
She's just got no dignity, has she? No
No,
self-respect.
it's the kind of thing that's sort of funny and endearing when you first see it, but looking back, it's kind of sad.
But then you're like, hang on a minute, she's getting paid millions to play in movies here, and she's getting hammered and climbing over chairs. Something doesn't sit right there.
Hmm.
Ooh. Do you know who it could be? Thinking of Beyond Two Souls. Which can be the next one. God, what was his name? Him that played Richard in Beyond Two Souls. I forgot what his name is.
I've never actually seen any Beyond Two Souls.
Plays Green Lantern's dad. Not Green Lantern's dad. That guy from Spider-Man.
Oh. Is the character called Richard?
I think it's Richard. Again, it's been ages since I've played it.
It's weird. You never see anyone talk about that game. You see all the memes about Heavy Rain, and Detroit is popular because it's a really bad racism allegory.
The what?
But you never hear anything about the other one.
Becoming Human.
Yeah. Do you know why? Because Beyond Two Souls was so bland for everyone that they just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it was a genuinely stunning game.
It didn't have a glitch that you'd green shawl, and it wasn't really badly handled topic. So of course I cared about it.
The only result I'm getting for looking for Richard is Stan.
No, it's Willem Dafoe. He could be the next guy. Because he's old.
Yeah, he's from that generation of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Sort of coming out now to super fucking dodge.
Hello, Jimmy Savile.
God. fine. Let's not bring up Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, this does seem to be like the decade of celebrities either being revealed as sexually abusive
Or dead.
or dying.
It's not just celebrities.
Well, I mean, yeah, Ryan, I guess people are just dying constantly anyway, but...
We don't really...
Well, no, I thought you were saying about, the allegations of stuff there. You say it's...
Oh no, there's that whole thing in Rotherham, isn't there? Where it's like, there's a group
Well, I mean, there's
of
been a
Muslim
load
men
of
grooming young girls.
MPs been apparently part of pedo rings.
Oh yeah, that too. So there's the whole Pizzagate scandal, isn't there, in America as well? Whether that's legitimate or not, I don't know.
What was Pizzagate again? I've heard it thrown around a bit.
So basically, when they hacked Hillary Clinton's emails, they found some really weirdly written emails, like using pizza instead of like normal words, and like cheese pizza, which is apparently like a euphemism for like child pornography. So like that was the train behind it, and it all centered around like one restaurant, which had allegations in the past of having like a child prostitution ring in it. Which, when someone went in there, was like, no, it's actually just a normal pizzeria. So yeah, I don't know where to think about with Pizzagate. Like, it's weird. Also,
yeah, no, I think I missed that.
While we're on the subject of that, why does everything that has like controversy in politics get the suffix "gate"?
Okay, because Watergate was a thing,
But
and
Watergate
then when
was the name of the hotel.
Yes, but then when people started going about Gamergate, because gamers pretend they were oppressed, they slapped Gate on
the thing for controversy to be gate. It stems from America.
Like, holy crap! Like seriously, can we stop it with the gate?
It's become a thing now.
I don't like it.
It's always been a big American thing. It's a thing.
Has it?
I think.
I don't like it. It doesn't.
Watergate.
It just doesn't sit right with me, you know. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it does get annoying when everyone describes things as being gay.
It kind of like, what's the word for it? I forgot what the word is. It makes it like a lesser of an issue. Or it makes it feel to me like a lesser of an issue, even though it's quite a bloody big issue. But yeah.
Yeah, in a way, it sort of just detracts from the like actual topic at hand, I guess.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And then our final topic of the day, I think we've finished on celebrities in general, haven't we? I think. After we've made predictions.
Done celebrity culture.
After we've finished making predictions on who we think's gonna be the next one to get fired. We're going to talk about Trump.
Oh dear.
How do we think Trump's doing? Like, we've talked about Brexit, how do we think Trump's doing?
I mean, my sort of general opinion on the man hasn't changed since he first announced his presidency, which is, for God's sake, take the shot. But...
Oh my god! What, back in 2000 you were thinking that?
I meant the most recent
right.
run.
Hashtag first time every time.
But what is there really with Trump though? I mean...
hey, he has been in the UK recently, hasn't he? I think
he's still here. I think he's still playing golf.
He came to the UK, he was in London for a day, and then he went to Scotland to stay at his golf course. And then he went straight to Helsinki to meet Putin, didn't he?
That was it, yeah.
And then there was a comment, oh yeah, no, I misspoke. I didn't mean to say I have no trust in the CIA. I meant to say I have...
No interest.
What was it? I said I would... What was it? I would trust the KGB more than the CIA. No, and I meant to say I wouldn't... I can't remember what it is. I mean, just the thing with Trump, though, oh yeah, how can his supporters just blindly support literally anything he says or does?
Oh my god, we can't use that picture of Trump, it's enormous. Let's shrink that picture of Trump down a little bit, 1 minute. That's just Trump in a nutshell, isn't it? We can't use that image; it's too big.
Like, just, oh yeah, Trump did something, it must be good. It's the kind of attitude a lot of his supporters take when, of course, one of the big things recently is obviously ICE, the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency.
Oh, yeah.
What are essentially concentration camps.
Yeah,
you're talking children in cages here?
Yeah.
I mean, if it helps, you can't really call Godwin's Law on this one, because Godwin came out quite a bit ago and said, no, this is not a case for that. Like, fuck. Good that we gotta get that around.
Yeah. I don't know, I think I was a supporter of him at the start. Like, I thought, okay, this whole campaign was just a bit of a joke, right? He's clearly just doing this to get votes, right?
Yeah, like
he's gonna act like a normal president, surely.
The American political establishment was and still is really bad and frankly dangerous. But god damn it, we do not need something to try and fix that bundled with this sort of rhetoric that him and his supporters have.
I'm just going to move Donald Trump down, so
Todd
Howard's calling them degenerates.
Drag the political establishment of America even further to the right.
Yeah, as if they didn't already have issues with being super far to the right anyway.
I mean, I hate to be the kind of cliche to kind of bring up there are certainly correlations with Hitler's rise in the Weimar Republic. But I mean, there are some there. I mean, do I think he's going to become like basically another Hitler? No, I doubt it.
No, I don't think he's got the
interesting
ability.
To see what happens after his presidency does end, to see the kind of action he takes. But,
I would like to see him last all 4 years.
I mean, he is going to last. He's not getting impeached.
No.
Only an idiot now.
But he might quit.
Yeah.
He's Trump. He might get bored and quit.
Like, let's face it, if he was going to get impeached,
that time, being president is harder than he thought it would be.
But yeah,
honestly, at this point, my real worry is that are the Democrats going to take the fucking hint and sort themselves out?
No, come on. Oprah Winfrey for what? Oprah Winfrey for 2020.
Oh, for God's sake!
If the Democrats
do that,
died. I think that kind of thought died. But
the problem I've
they
got
don't
now
know
is
what they want to be.
Yeah.
They're just all they're offering is a slightly more polite version of the same shit the Republicans do.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes down to
they need to learn that's not going to work.
See, Ryan raises an interesting point where he's like, Oprah Winfrey president. I know that was probably a joke when she said it, but if it's not, holy crap. It's turning into like Ready Player One, where it's like Will Wheaton is the president because he's the most popular at that point.
Yeah. It's a seriously bad issue.
Interesting
I don't
fact.
think she actually is going to run.
I think the only chance Them's hands to as a political entity at all is that the amount of pushbacking Trump's presidency shifts the Dems to being an actual opposition. But seeing as how they've made it this far without actually doing anything worthwhile, I really kind of doubt it's going to happen now.
Do you think he's going to run again?
Democrats have got a Ocasio-Cortez though, so that's an interesting development.
Do you think Trump's going to run again?
I don't truthfully think it matters whether he'll run again, because whoever runs after him is likely going to be of the same sort of political leanings as he's claimed to be.
Or you think it's been like a turning point in America?
Honestly, I could see that happening. Like, let's face it, the Republican establishment lost full out to Trump's whole populism, far-right rhetoric shit. The Dems have done nothing to show themselves as anything more than just a bunch of career politicians with no actual meaning behind them.
So, normal then.
Yeah, like... I get I get the feeling that it's just going to get worse for America, if anything.
Where do you see the end being?
Okay,
World War III or a destroyed America?
While I can think of a serious answer, my less serious answer is Civil War II Electric Boogaloo.
See, to be fair, there was worry that like Trump
Ham
would
and
incite a
sickle
civil war.
flying
Yeah.
over America, yeah.
Like, as I said, I think that the only thing I can hope for with America is that there's enough of a pushback in the general populace that either the Dems shift or by some miracle America somehow gets out of the two-party system they're in, which I doubt will
Yeah, but
happen.
you say they get out of it. England's in a two-party system.
Yeah, but England's in one of those
Example.
sort of soft two-party systems.
Is it? When was the last time you saw Lib Dems doing anything meaningful?
It's because
Okay,
of the
it's
system.
soft in the terms of
That's
it's not completely.
Well, Britain
but
is a 2.5-party system. Is
First
generally
past
how
the post
academic
only works for two-party systems.
Sorry, what was that, Adam?
First past the post is only supposed to work for two-party systems.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
all the UK needs is changes to how they handle things like first past the post, and they're no longer a two-party at all. The
So it goes like
US
alternate vote.
has been strictly a
Britain's
two-party
saying
since
half
conception.
Maximum proportional representation,
Hmm.
or does regular proportional representation would fix that?
Oh, okay. But same
We're
as
trying to vote
what's
sort
weird.
of
What's weird about
Mhm.
England is we're not allowed to have a hung parliament. And my logic is, why the fuck not? If that's what I voted for, that's what I voted for. I'd much rather have what I voted for than a bunch of like bullshit, like backhanded deals with a bunch of parties pretending to be friends, even though like a week before they were vehemently opposed.
Yep.
Tory and DUP, anyone?
No, they weren't though. The DUP had never
Oh.
had a problem. What about Tories and Lib Dems back in Cameron's?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Tories and DUP don't really get along very well.
I mean, does
And
anyone at the
especially
DUP?
of Brexit, which we've already
Yeah,
discussed.
man.
I think the world politically isn't it very, very interesting. I wouldn't say dangerous. I don't think it's in a dangerous position. I think it's interesting.
Well, you never know. Going back to America, we could see the red flag rise.
I doubt
We
it.
can only
Oh, yeah, no, it won't. But can you imagine that, though? If America suddenly went communist, that'd be hilarious.
I honestly do not think the collusion goes as deep
Yeah.
as what like.
I
the
don't.
left
I
says
don't
it
think
is.
it could. I don't think it could actually happen with America as it is now. I think you'd get essentially the political equivalent of just pulling on the handbrake when you're going down the motorway.
Stop.
There'll be Brexit, we'll have a civil war in America, take back the British Empire. That's
Let's
the
not do that.
why we're having Brexit.
Why? What's wrong with taking back the British Empire?
I'd rather not.
Just do it right this time.
I don't think there is a right way to do imperialism. The
Sure
right
there
way
is.
is to not do it.
No, you don't. No. The right way to do imperialism is to financially support them and politically support them, while giving them effective, meaningful representation.
At that point, is it even really imperialism?
Yeah, of course it is. Like the Isle of Wight is an island for all intents and purposes, but it's part of Portsmouth, right? They are represented in Portsmouth, but they are their own island. They have sovereignty, but also unity.
Mm.
It's same as Gibraltar is part of the UK, but it's not, kind of. Yeah?
Yeah.
They have sovereignty and unity. You can do like imperialism right. It's just most people kind of don't want to be owned.
Yeah,
So they
I wonder
generally
why.
They generally put up a fight.
Yeah, I wonder why people don't like being.
Being owned.
Yeah.
It's almost like we had a massive civil rights case over this. How about the
Yeah, it's just
reverse?
great.
Speaking
People
of that,
don't like
how
their
about the
country.
reverse racism that's happening these days? I'm seeing a lot of memes where it's like white people in their shuffles deck picks card blank. There seems to be a lot of like negativity from white people towards white people. What is this?
Because white people, as the essentially dominant culture in the West, I guess, and the ones
Well-
generally in power, like punching up is always an acceptable target.
Why not just stop punching? Why not just accept that we are different culturally? We have differences. We have both. I don't know. We are different people, but we are all human. Why not have that?
Because I don't know, because this is the kind of culture we're currently in online.
I mean, this is just
every-
peak liberal,
like,
isn't it?
you
Let's
know.
be fair.
And let's face it, I reckon, honestly, most of the shit you see talked about white people, it's a fair point, you know? It's the kind of joke where, like, you know what, yeah, I can't even contest this.
Yeah, but a lot of them don't say
Like,
it's jokes.
yeah, we
That's the
have a
problem.
habit of cooking shit. What?
A lot of them don't say it as jokes.
No.
Some of
Well, I
them,
mean, again, it comes down to peak liberalism, let's be fair.
I suppose. Do you think we've hit peak liberalism?
I'm not even sure what peak liberalism is supposed to be anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was a few years ago. Then again, there is a new book coming out by a feminist that I actually want to read.
Oh.
Yes, I don't know, for once, I want to read something by an SJW. Because it's, basically she's looked at all the stuff that people who call themselves feminists claim are inequalities, right? And then, like, debunked them, but showed how there are actual inequalities within the sexes.
Is it the same
Yeah.
person that wrote Give the Boys a Chance?
I'm not sure. It's called... Oh, God, what was it called? God, I've got it written down 1 minute.
Because I remember seeing a thing where it was a bunch of, like, probably, like, 13, 14-year-old American girls. They found this book, which was actually written by a woman, you know, by a feminist. You know, it's called Give the Boys a Chance, and it was highlighting some of the issues with boys in education, you know, and how, especially in America, you know, in a lot of education systems now,
Oh, okay.
boys just don't seem to do too well, and they found this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they just burnt it because they thought it went against their ideals.
Oh, there was a very similar thing with, oh gosh, I think it was book series like Boys Like Girls Who, and it turns out it was actually like a really good book about, like, you know, self-confidence and not valuing yourself or what other people think of you and stuff like that. But it had an eye-catching title, and there was a very similar story with that actually. Yeah.
But, you know, it's almost like, you know, I call it hyper-liberalism, you know, or extreme liberalism, which, I mean, Americans will always consider to be, like, the ultra-left-wing, when actually, in reality, it's more right-wing, you know, much more authoritarian right-wing.
It really is.
It's kind of reverse right-wing.
It's when you go so far left, you go right.
No, it's not even
Not
left.
even that. It's when your country is so
right-wing.
far right, you think you're left.
Yeah.
when
That's
you've,
basically, you know,
in reality, just gone round
I mean,
the globe.
sorry, burning the books that you think you don't agree with, that's not a left-wing thing.
Yeah, man.
It's like I've
Like,
seen
that old adage
pictures
about how,
of
like,
book
the Dems
burnings.
based.
I've seen actual pictures of people burning books. Like, the fuck?
I
But,
mean,
you know,
isn't
again,
what is it? Isn't Fahrenheit or whatever the fuck that book's called again? Isn't that on, like, a banned list for most American schools?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, that book that's about the danger of banning books?
Oh, I know what you mean. It's the
Face punch of
temperature in
irony.
Fahrenheit where paper sets combust, isn't it?
Yeah. I forget what the actual title's called now. Like, it's Fahrenheit Force, because that's that's the pretty
that-
clever title.
Oh god. Like, yeah. So I don't think that political leaning is like on an X and Y grid. I think it's more of a globe.
No, it's not.
It's more of a globe.
I don't know. I always like to disagree with horseshoe theory just because, fuck you. But
Oh, I mean, horseshoe here. I can't say horseshoe.
if
theory.
only because I only ever see horseshoe theory brought out by really smug centrists, and I never see anything like good put towards it. It's always just like, well, these people feel strongly about something, and you feel strongly about something. But that's the same, right? God, stop having
Well,
hard
I mean,
opinions.
I think the classic thing is
1 minute,
the
Wakey.
best
We've
one
known
I've
each other
seen
for like basically 2 years at this point, right? Is it? Can't remember.
No, basically a year.
Yeah, let's go for that one. See, I'm brilliant. I'm brilliant, like, at maths. That's how it works, isn't it? Quick maths, right? Like, how have you not realised that I'm a smug centralist yet?
Just, I'll be quite frank. That joke, what is it? Four-axis scale
Yeah.
thing I put in the chat.
Yeah.
My opinion, centrist is basically that center one.
I mean, let me try and get that up.
Yeah, no, going back to what I was trying to say, right? It's like the whole thing with horseshoe theory. It's like The ultra-right, we should have a genocide of everyone but ourselves. The ultra-left, everyone should like unite and be a single entity. Centrist, they're basically the same.
I mean, they are.
If anything, the modern comparison nowadays is the hard right is like, well, we should get rid of these Muslims or these people that aren't white and stuff like that.
And the left is let's get rid of whites.
Let's get rid of the people that want to punish people based on it. It's like you say about the whole hard right versus Antifa thing, but like, I mean, look at what they're formed around. Like the alt-right is formed around this idea of like essentially white supremacy, and the Antifa is formed around the idea of removing specifically people who want like white supremacy. One is significantly more reactive and less actively trying to get.
It's not essentially removing. Now I think there's a point to be made quickly that the American anti-fascist movement are not particularly effective. But the idea of anti-fascism is to challenge fascists where they arise.
Yeah, we don't have a fascist
because the thing is like
we don't live in a fascist time.
Yeah, but by common definition, the sort of things encouraged and advocated by a lot of the alt-right falls under what people would consider fascist.
Yeah, but equally, a lot of the stuff that Antifa does is fascist too.
Yeah, if I may continue.
There's that old adage about how if you want a truly tolerant society, the one thing you can't tolerate is intolerance.
Very true.
No, the thing is, it does make sense because if you allow intolerance to exist, then naturally tolerance will be eroded.
Yeah. But one thing that a tolerant society can be intolerant towards is intolerance.
Like the idea is that fascists will not engage in dialogue. The only way to stop fascism rising is to essentially force them into silence. They understand force, show them force.
Yeah, that's what the mentality.
It's a very dangerous way of looking at it, though.
Oh, it very much is, but I mean.
But your alternative is to let them go out and speak.
Eventually, their minds would be changed, though. Idiots don't stay idiots forever.
They don't. But the way that, especially nowadays, with all these like constant fake news arguments and stuff, the alt-right seem to love pushing agendas that are blatantly untrue, but they fit their agenda enough that people who listen to them don't care. Like, in most arguments between someone on either side, neither side actually care about learning. They care about proving that their way of thinking is correct. They're not going to learn. They just want to be right.
I mean, you've got fringe people on both sides,
dialogue.
like who actually try and disprove each other.
Oh, you do, definitely.
But even still, when they try and disprove each other, it's trying to disprove each other to prove themselves right, as opposed to finding the truth.
It does reach an extent in how politics moves, where dialogue just breaks down, and there just really isn't that option anymore. Like when you've got people, marching, throwing out like old Nazi slogans, torches and shit. At that point, I think the time for dialogue has sort of passed.
Why? It's a hell of a lot cheaper to fight a war with words than it is with bullets.
Oh, definitely.
But the thing is,
and it's a hell of a lot cheaper still to intimidate the war and to never start.
Alright, Orwell. Fucking Jesus, big brother over here.
But no, like,
the war didn't exist. It was always existed, but it didn't exist. Fucking hell.
I mean, I think, like I say, it's worth mentioning that a lot of people, when they talk, a lot of non-anti-fascists, when we talk about anti-fascism, they focus on the American things, and naturally, as is typical of America, they get it wrong.
Yeah, America is like just, there is no in between. It is extremes only.
Yeah, I mean, the American anti-fascist movements tend to get it exceptionally wrong. But I mean, there's still something to learn from it.
If you want to do anti-fascist movement right, you're going to have to talk to each other.
Yo, Yeah, there is definitely something like that.
You can't
but-
attack each other. You've got to. Okay, so people who believe they're right,
But the issue
they
is,
will
you
fight
can
to the
talk
very
to
end.
someone, but if they don't want to listen,
No one wants to listen. That's the thing. No one wants to listen because
I guess
they will, and a
nobody
lot
wants
of
to know
people
they're wrong.
will refuse to listen.
But eventually, seriously, eventually, you give them enough evidence that they go, hang on a minute, let me step back a minute and think about this. I know because it happened to me.
Oh yeah, certainly that can be a really good way of doing it. But I think the main purpose of most anti groups at the moment isn't really to try and change minds. It's to be there so that so that the other side can't do anything harmful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're intended to be there as a presence to make sure that nothing happens.
But things do
You know.
happen. Things get very violent very quickly.
Oh yeah, that is sort of what's going to happen when you have two opposing groups so close together. I mean, to be fair, most of the times when things are really broken down into violence, it's been because some horribly mismanaged. Like I think, was it the Charlottesville thing? Like there were the way that like protesting our protest was handled by the police and towns.
Okay, so Charlottesville, from what I know, the right-wing group had asked the police for permission to protest. The police had granted it and said that they would stand by in case of any backlash, as is pretty common in a protest.
Yeah.
The anti-fascists, or Antifa, or whatever the bloody hell they want to be called these days, they didn't ask the police. They didn't inform anyone that they were going. They just showed up.
Now, see, I've seen a
And they
breakdown.
showed up fully armed.
I've seen a breakdown of some of the stuff that happened there, and there was a designated area for counter-protests. The problem was there was a breakdown of communication between the police and the various groups that meant people didn't know which area was supposed to be for which meant there was no clear divisions, and most of the police were positioned in really inopportune ways to stop anything happening.
See, from all I know, all I know is I know both sides went armed, which you don't do to a protest. Both sides went to protect themselves, as it were, which included like having like face masks and like makeshift weapons.
Let's see if I can find this. I can't remember what the hell it was.
But no, if it was a legitimate protest, you would
that's what I'm trying to think.
You would expect a counter-protest then.
Because I'm pretty sure that's where they handle it for most protests. They have designated space for counter-protesters, so like what you said apparently happened doesn't happen. Because they don't want people just showing up randomly without any organisation.
No, because it's dangerous.
Yeah. So, I can't remember who the hell did this video now as well. It's bugging me.
Like, you have a right to protest, not a right to fight.
Was it? Oh, here we go. I was trying to remember who it was that had done it. It's, you know Sean on YouTube?
Vaguely?
Yeah, I remember I saw this ages ago. It's, a big breakdown of basically what happened there, mostly using footage from right-wing streamers that were there.
I'll try and remember how events went down. In the description.
Yeah.
But okay.
Because I'm sure I remember seeing something on that.
I think the problem is both sides want to believe that they're doing everything perfectly right. Okay. But
yeah.
Both sides are doing something wrong. Doesn't matter what it is. Whether you disagree with them politically or what, both sides are doing something wrong. Because the truth is never black or white, right? It's always somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So
I guess the problem is, especially when you're working with such a large and, I'll be honest, no way centrally organised group.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to get the perfect way to dissolve the entire situation as a whole. And it just sort of gets messy.
I don't know whose fault the Charlottesville riots were. Whether it was the right, the left, the police, or whoever. I think it was a combination of them all.
Yeah, it was a combination of a lot of messy factors, really.
But I think lessons can be learnt from it. Like, in one, you organise a protest, and you organise it with dedicated zones for both the protest and counter-protest. Any counter-protest that wants to come alerts themselves to the police. They get escorted into the zones and are watched so neither side can kill each other.
I'm going to say one thing that's probably really not helping right now is the fact that in America's current political climate, most people that are like hard on the left have serious distrust of the police now.
Yeah.
The amount of shit that's gone down with the American police and all these like, well, you know, corruption and police brutality and all this.
Yeah.
It really doesn't help keep things stable.
See, I don't follow much with the police brutality thing, but I am willing to believe that there's something there.
I mean, there's enough reports and
yeah.
there's enough reports and eyewitness accounts that like.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. It is that would have it added.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've not really looked much into it. I'll be honest. But I'm willing to believe that there is definitely something wrong with like police brutality. Because you don't just get a group of people.
It essentially becomes a situation where the group that's supposed to be the mediators to make sure nothing happens, one side is definitely going in at least feeling like they're definitely against them. Which can't help for tensions.
I think we need to seriously overview, like, have a good look at how we deal with protests. Because you can't win a war by just fighting. You've got to have that peace treaty at the end.
I mean, honestly, like I think one of the big miscommunications people have is that Antifa isn't like a singular organization.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's sort of just a general term for people that are trying, you know, people that are against, like, hard right and quote-unquote fascist action that are following the same general sort of advice of, you know, don't let people see your face because they'll be able to, like, find, like, you know, you'll be able to be found out by people.
Well, the main principle of that is no face, no case.
Advice, yeah.
Until
like the general black bloc. Well, that's exactly why the black bloc thing of like covering your face and everything is there, because they know that things like 4chan, and that people before have been identified and stuff and been harassed.
Say it's not just that; it's also a simple matter of, well, no face, no case, as they're saying. Like, you know, that if the police try and come after you, very limited evidence to prove anything on you because, well, there's no real identifier there, so you can't get charged.
Well, you need reasonable doubt, don't you? That's all you need, like.
I'm going to say, it's why there was a lot of laughter going on with when the Free Tommy protests inevitably turned violent and they all attacked down in the street.
I haven't actually seen the aftermath of that. I know there's another protest.
Quite a few arrests there, and you know the faces were quite clear, and you just say like, "Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of evidence to charge these guys because, well, we know exactly who they are and what they were doing." So, see what the judicial system makes of it.
Yeah, I think it's like partially because like I guess the sort of alt-right protesters tend to very much be sort of like, you know, we're proud of who we are. Why should we have to hide like believing these things? While Antifa is sort of going by those old sort of standard, you know, protesting against the police and stuff, buys of cover your face, prepare for the worst, you know, protect yourself, all that sort of stuff. Which admittedly doesn't help them when it comes to being seen as the big, scary Antifa boogeyman.
Well, the thing is, you're trying to counter-protest people who you know will not like being protested against and are inevitable and tend to be exceptionally violent. You know, you can't protest, you know, someone with deeply ingrained beliefs of, you know, of self-pride.
When your primary motivating belief is of like superiority and violence, kind of hard to.
No, you have to show them evidence in like a sit-down talk, like something like this.
Yeah.
Like,
the issue is that works really well on an individual level.
That's what you need.
It doesn't when you've got like two big crowds of people.
Eventually, like, you just change one or two minds. Eventually, smoke. Like, the fire carries. It's like there was that black man who joined the KKK just to talk to people who hated him.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think one thing he's saying is like, you know, how much risk he was putting himself at to do that. Well,
I mean,
not an easy thing to do.
There's a lot of risk, but at the end of the day, he's doing something that.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's doing something amazing.
Right thing to do. And I think that is the way to do it. You talk to people on an individual level. You show them the light of day. You treat them as though you treat them with civility and as though they're your equal. And if
I
they
feel
see
like
that you're willing to make that,
I feel like
will
the
take
main
that.
sort of reason that people want to definitely counter protest against these big marches and stuff is because like, a lot of these alt-right people, their sort of beliefs are found on the idea that they deserve this, they are superior, all this, and that by having a large presence there opposing them, they're sort of trying to show them that no, the world doesn't agree with you. You're not just allowed to do this without consequences.
Okay, so for the sake of
Not all.
simplicity and the confusing the audience a little bit less,
Yeah.
by alt-right we are defining like neo-Nazis, the KKK,
Yeah, that's
actual,
sort of
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, let's face it, the neo-Nazis did literally rebrand themselves as alt-right. The guy who coined that term was a Nazi.
Jesus Christ.
What, is that not a...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Spencer.
Did you not wonder where the term alt-right actually came from?
I
Nick
thought it was
Spencer.
from
No.
like the left wing insulting the right.
No.
No.
The term alt-left, like the term alt-left came from the alt-right, as they were trying to sort of make it seem like they're both the same. But alt-right was coined by, wasn't it Nick Spencer? The dude who got punched in the face at that on TV,
I mean, is Nick
and
Spencer
everyone
the
made
one
gifs
with
of
all
it
the
for a while.
schools?
He's the one who has a load of KKK and neo-Nazis.
I know there's one with the schools that just says the N-word a lot.
No, that's one of the YouTube blokes, I'm pretty sure.
And a clue. I don't keep up with all the alt-rights and stuff. They're a bit too aggressive
Was it
for my
Nick?
taste.
I can't remember. I know it was Spencer. What the fuck his last name was?
Could be
What is
Spencer
Spencer?
Nicks.
Spencer. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry, not Nick. Oh god, Richard Spencer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies to the Marvel editor that I've just been naming after neo-Nazis. No, Richard Spencer. I don't know why I had Nick in my head.
Probably because we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy earlier.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got my names mixed up there. Yeah. President of the white supremacist think
Can you
tank,
get me a
National
picture of
Policy
him? Let's
Institute.
throw him up on the video.
Right, and by the way, the National Policy Institute, being called a white supremacist think tank, isn't from me. That's from Wikipedia.
What's his name again?
Good old Richard Spencer. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of him being punched.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure it's getting.
I'm sure I've got a GIF of that saved somewhere actually. It was all around Tumblr when it happened. It was great. I might already have.
That's the one I found. Right, let's throw Nick Spencer. Not Nick Spencer. Richard Spencer. Christ.
I don't know why I thought his name was.
I'm doing it now.
I don't even know anyone called Nick.
Let's see if he's enormous. Yeah, he's not that big. He could just sort of,
He's a big boy.
he can go in the
I
pilot.
was gonna say, well, I think he originally coined the term. Then it was like, is it Milo Yiannopoulos or something? He then started.
Oh god, yeah. Milo Yiannopoulos.
Also, you're gonna love this video when you see it. Like, it's just three people just like all in one corner, just next to Todd Howard, and Legionnaire Todd Howard.
I'm looking forward to this.
Just skip right to the end and just look at the image at the end.
I mean, this is what our fans are here for. Is the slow congregation of images appearing.
I mean, you say fans, right? I mean, this is like not even released. Like.
Look, mate, I'm being optimistic here.
Oh.
You mentioning Todd Howard reminded me. I was saying about the Todd Howard chess club thing, wasn't I?
Oh, go on.
Oh gosh, yeah,
What's
that.
this about? We need something lighter than neo-Nazis and ridiculously violent people. You've got an actual gamer being punched.
You think that's bad? I have this saved under the name He Did Not See That Coming.
Oh my god.
I knew it was saved somewhere on here.
Christ almighty.
But lucky I don't have one of the edits of it.
God. I mean, I can probably link it. I can probably link it. I think that's... Are you allowed to link violence? I'm not saying... I mean, I think my words should speak for themselves. I'm definitely not inciting people to punch each other.
Why not?
So shall I just
Oh.
link it in the description if I remember? So what's this Todd Howard Chess Club thing?
Yeah, come on.
I'll just
Explain the context.
I think we're talking about how he got into design, obviously game design, like.
Through chess.
But it just became a bit of a meme because he was saying about how all the other people were like in the sports clubs and that, and they told him to go back to the chess club, and they're saying like, "Oh yeah, who's laughing now?" And he just stops and goes, "Yes, I was in the chess club." Obviously, that's going back into something earlier that we were talking about. I just suddenly remembered I was going to put that in there. But
I kind of want to put like a speech bubble coming from like Todd Howard, like Legionnaire Todd Howard, like just saying, just like checkmate.
no, the Legionnaire Todd Howard one, it has to be for degenerates because of when he said degenerates, I'm talking about Elder Scrolls Blades. Because he was saying how you can play Elder Scrolls Blades in portrait mode with one hand because you never know when you'll need a spare hand.
To be honest, I don't see the point in them coding that in. It makes no sense.
Well, you never know when you might need a spare hand.
Yeah, but you do.
I don't want to know
you
what
do,
that
though.
means.
It means when you're in the loo. That's what he meant.
Oh.
We're going to say everyone just started laughing and he just...
Everyone took it out of context.
Degenerate.
Oh, God.
Well,
Oh, hey!
it's basically Skyrim mobile. I mean, how long until you get the mods?
Nah, man, Skyrim on your Alexa, come on.
I mean, isn't that just basically Zork? At that point, is it not just Zork?
Well, I mean, no, but...
I'd say that Skyrim on your Alexa is just the world's saddest game of D&D.
Like,
It's D&D for people without friends.
Until they release a multiplayer mod. At which point it's just D&D.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's D&D without the DM though. That would solve Tabletop's biggest problem.
So what you're saying is Tabletop
shit.
should buy an absolute metric crap load of Amazon Alexas. Yeah, I can see that going down well.
Oh yeah.
hello, Kutzai.
Oh, look at that. Oh, it's fine. We can just use games. We can just use game. We can just use the funds we'll siphon off Game Society now we own it.
Yeah, you shouldn't say his name, Ryan. He will pop up in his Twitter feed.
Mm. Oh, you seen this? The guy that directed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, vaguely.
He's apparently directing a film set during World War II, intended to mock Nazis,
So
which includes himself portraying an imaginary friend version of Hitler.
What?
Apparently, he feels the best way to ridicule Hitler is to have him played by a Polynesian Jew. Apparently, the film is based around the idea of a young boy living during World War II whose escapism is to his imaginary friend of an ethnically inaccurate version of Hitler, encourages his patriotic beliefs, and then at some point he has like a change of heart and a realization of shit. I don't know. This is a very short story I've done online.
I weep for humanity sometimes.
It's the same guy that did What We Do in the Shadows. That one.
Wasn't that really crap?
It was the what was it? It was a low budget vampire based mockumentary.
Okay, I still need to see that.
I've heard good things about the comedy in it.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know, maybe.
Hashtag not spawn.
Oh, I know, right? You made
time.
it this far without fucking Audible.
Oh god. Okay, so
maybe you can get an actual.
A bit of context on the Audible thing. So I plug my Audible account all the time to these guys, even though I don't have an affiliate link, because I genuinely just enjoy the service that much.
That pledge.
but I always use like the YouTube like thanks to Audible kind of meme to it. But no, I genuinely
As
do
long as
enjoy the
it's
service
not
that
a
much.
case of if you write anything on your laptop, you need to get, and I'll let you figure out what the end of that is. 'Cause I ain't gonna drop the name.
But
Oh, God,
I ain't
what
gonna
would
drop
that
the
be?
name.
no, man, my big problem right now for some reason is fucking
All the
trading
Grammarly
212.
assets.
They just won't stop giving me ads.
Oh,
Like, fuck off, lad. I don't
I
need
write
stock websites.
all the time. Every.
I don't have an income. Stop giving me stock
I every
trading
so
websites.
often get adverts for pieces of like gas chromatography equipment. Like,
Well, hey, at least your stuff's relevant.
I totally need like high-end like analytics
Nah,
equipment.
my YouTube ads are entirely
To be
stock
fair,
trading
if I
and
can
advertisements
find the
for other
advert
universities.
if I can find the advert for it, I will put it in the description because it is genuinely hilarious. Because like basically it ends with the advert goes with them all like wearing clogs dancing, and the end saying, this brand, I forgot what they're called, when you don't want clogs. Which is quite. Am I the only one that finds that funny?
No, it's funny.
Yeah, I'm sad, aren't I? Great.
But I hate YouTube ads. The past 2 weeks, let me check, it was... So 2 weeks and 4 days now. The only ads I've been getting have been League of Legends. Only League of Legends ads.
Oh yeah, they'll do that like every 2 years or so. They'll just do an ad spam.
What is League of Legends?
Yeah, no, they
Oh
League
god,
do
no,
that.
I don't want to have to go back.
I used to play League. I can't stand it anymore because it's so repetitive.
I used to play League. No, I used to play Dota. Then I used to play League, and now I'm thankfully MOBA free. Yeah,
Yeah, it just gets
I'm
so
on the road to
repetitive.
recovery.
It's the single most toxic
I'm sorry,
game.
I might just make that the tagline of this episode. I'm MOBA free.
I mean, the only reason I stopped playing was because the friends I used to play with, like, sort of had actual things to do and actual obligations to fulfill during the summer,
Yeah.
and I was too shit to play solo queue.
Yeah, I think I know the feel there. The thing is, no, try being a support main.
I have no idea what any of this
Oh.
is.
Yeah,
I'm a support main in Overwatch when I play it, if only because it lets me channel my passive aggressiveness through actual
I'm gonna have
results.
to ask this. What is Overwatch? Like, what actually is it?
Imagine a team-based FPS and a MOBA had some sort of ungodly child.
Right, because I
And
always
also
thought it was like
imagine
an
the
FPS
lore
game.
was real. Yeah, oh yeah, it is, but
Basically,
with a load of MOBA-ish elements,
Oh
I'd always say.
God.
It's basically TF2, but
Yeah.
limited.
It's TF2 and Dota, I'd say.
I'm gonna say you can't really call it a
Mechanic.
MOBA because there is a game that.
Oh no, it's not a MOBA, but I'd say it takes a lot of elements from MOBAs, like the class-based system and the skills and all that. A lot of it feels quite MOBA-ish, even though it is.
You can't really call it a MOBA. You can't really call it a MOBA because there was a game that doesn't really exist anymore called Battleborn.
I am completely out of my depth here. I have no idea.
Oh,
what any
Battleborn
of
was a
these
very
games
similar
are.
game. Ended up coming out at base at the same time.
I know the thing.
I feel
Right.
like
Well
I'm
for it.
losing nerd points.
Oh, it's fine,
I was
man.
a Battleborn,
All you
played Battleborn
know
until
about
Battleborn died.
that they've got a Swedish dwarf, and the lore is.
They've got a Swedish dwarf.
And I mean that both in the fact that the lore is really inconsistent and obviously not that well done, and also the fact that the most noteworthy thing to ever happen with it was that they nerfed one of the characters' ass, and nerds on the internet got very upset.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What do
See,
you mean they
everyone
nerfed
does that.
their ass?
What I mean is they changed one of her taunts in the
Oh,
game, so she was no
God,
longer shooting
yeah.
her ass at the screen, and nerds
I'll try
got
and
very
find
upset about this.
Yeah, the
Why?
Tracer
Because-
ass post.
They really like seeing someone who's essentially wearing skin-tight clothes on their everywhere, shaking their ass at the camera.
So go to a strip club.
Yeah.
Well, then again, just
I
remember
think the
all those
second,
people got really
most
pissed.
tilted nerds have been about Overwatch was then they revealed that same character was a lesbian.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't, if you look, the first image was the one that was changed to the second one.
Do I have the integrity to keep this, like, to keep that out of here?
probably.
For the sake of the audience at home and it not making
If it makes you
very
feel better,
much sense.
if it makes you feel better, she has the most obnoxious Cockney accent you could imagine on a video.
Oh,
Hey up, love. Cavalry's here.
I can't stand that
basically
Cockney
it.
accent. I don't know why.
She
I
is our
really
British
don't know
rep.
why. Why
Yeah,
did
my
they not give
brother,
her
I
a
don't know
nice
if he still
Yorkshire
plays
accent?
Overwatch, but he used to, so
You
I
know what? Do you know how much I'd give for there to be someone with a strong Yorkshire accent in a video game?
There is Hoxton from Payday 2.
Yeah, okay.
He's from
okay.
have you ever
Popular
played Old
video
School
game.
Star Oblivion? You ever played Old School Star Oblivion? Because Martin Septim is voiced by Sean Bean.
Yeah, that's why he dies. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, he doesn't die.
All of Sean Bean's characters
Doesn't
die as divine punishment for the fact that his name doesn't rhyme.
So he doesn't die, he transcends and becomes Akatosh, but you know.
Okay, well, I think that was more spoilery than what Kyle said.
He still dies. It's just I didn't technically die, but I died. I need to go back and play Oblivion, I think.
Play Morrowind.
I can't get Morrowind to work on my computer. Because I don't have the Steam version, I have the disc copy. It just isn't compatible.
Wow, all this talk of RPGs, I remember I never actually finished the most recent Pokemon game. Like, I bought it and just never actually did anything with it.
Did you finish any of the other Pokemons ever?
Yes, I spun one.
Then you finished the new one?
No, like, I just never did.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you must have finished the new one because they're basically all the same.
I'd dispute you, but this one is literally a slightly updated re-release of the previous game. Why do I continue to fund this series?
No!
They make so many poor design choices, but they could be so good.
If we gave them more money.
Look, I'm just naively hoping that eventually we'll have, like, a legitimately just good game again. That isn't just, like, making it on nostalgia. Yeah. I mean, I get that when they move over to the Switch, because they'll be forced to redo all their assets and stuff, they might actually have a good game.
No, they'll just have like a 2D sprite version.
I could dream they'd go back to 2D sprite. Basically, ever since they moved over from 2D sprites, it's feeling staler and they've had their standout moments, but they've just been stopping. It's been constantly like nostalgia bait and same old content.
I really kind of want a Switch though.
Oh, I've got a Switch.
Definitely
Black Friday. My life.
I don't know why though. I don't know why I want a Switch.
I mean,
they've got some good games for it. They're coming out with a Smash game, which is guaranteed to at least be enjoyable.
I've got to say,
No. I take everything back. That is the tagline. Guaranteed to be at least enjoyable.
actually been Nintendo
What? Even if it's not like a ground game, it's Smash, so it's going to be at least fun. You know what I mean?
They're releasing all the old games like through not virtual console.
They've got
virtual console.
Splatoon 2 is basically just Splatoon 1, but on a different console, as in legitimately good game. Like, still not got tired of that concept. Breath of the Wild deserved its Game of the Year.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Breath of the Wild looked good to me. If I was to get a Switch, I'd want that.
The only downside I give to Breath of the Wild is that it introduces some it does just enough to make you care about characters,
and then kills
but
them.
they're not enough to make that feel fulfilling in of itself. Like, because half the characters you get to know are dead by the time the game even starts because of how the plot works. That's not even a spoiler at this point. It just becomes sort of a thing of, oh, I love this character.
Dead.
And now I feel dead inside. Which I guess, to be fair, does make it sort of feel even, stronger for the plot. Because that's how you're supposed to feel. But it doesn't change the fact that it's emotionally irritating.
Definitely a fun game to 100% as well. I'm not taking a picture.
Also, don't ever try and 100% that.
Yeah. I did everything.
They have a collectible.
No, I didn't do the cork seeds.
Oh, the cork seeds. Isn't 900?
999, I think it was.
Yeah. It's like one of the biggest open world settings there game really, and there are 900 of however many of this collectible.
Why would you think that was fun?
It's not. If anything, it's actually quite intelligent design because you by these collectibles allow you to upgrade how much you have in your carrying capacity and all that stuff, how many slots you have for weapons. So what they do is you only need about I think I want to say it's like 300 to fully max out everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But they make them so there's so many of them and they're so just all over the place. You're guaranteed to run into pretty much as many as you'll need to actually complete the game, just from playing it normally and going a little bit out of your way to explore areas.
Wait.
It only becomes difficult when you're trying to completely 100% them.
See, it's like trying to get diamonds in Far Cry 2.
Kind of, but because the game's set out to be super open-ended in terms of how you want to complete it, they put so many in, so you're guaranteed to definitely collect them.
See, that's the thing. Everyone said Far Cry 2 was a very linear experience. It wasn't. You could actually approach missions as...
If anything, I think Breath of the Wild loses some, because it's weird. How open it is an amazing benefit of the game, but also hampers it slightly, because you can tell that its story wasn't originally conceived to be done that way, and some areas really feel like they were meant to be done in a linear style.
See, I'm just looking at the time we're recording now, and I'm thinking, should we wrap this up? And, like...
Yeah.
Because it's been about 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours seems pretty good for...
That's good.
So I'm thinking we say our final words. Is there anything you want to specifically talk about our topics today? Anything you wanted to wrap up?
That next time I'm definitely going to research what points we're talking beforehand, instead of just trying to bullshit my way through it.
Yeah.
How about you, Ryan? You thinking the same?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
It's fine. I'll post in the group chat like an actual thing beforehand.
I'm just gonna make sure you plug Audible again.
Oh yeah, gotta thank Audible, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't provide this, but like, I'm getting a free audiobook soon, so.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to Audible or however that works.
I say free, but I pay for it every month. Yeah. I genuinely bought Audible because I wanted one book, and I just
Kyle, you see, that's how taxes work. That's why taxes are good.
Seriously, I bought it because I got it because I wanted one book. I thought, okay, I'll sign up, get my free trial, quit at the end, get to keep a book, right? And just enjoyed the service that much. I just thought I can't be asked.
We should just nationalise everything.
What, nationalise?
And if you disagree, I'm going to nationalise your blood.
No, you've got it wrong. We abolish the monarchy, and then at the same time we nationalise Weatherspoons. Then we turn Buckingham Palace into a Weatherspoons.
Nationalise.
That's clever.
It needs to be done.
Weatherspoons should be a national company.
Look, let's face it, Weatherspoons is like, the third most important part of British culture.
Exactly. £2 a pint.
Can't beat it.
So is that what we're going to end on? You can't beat Weatherspoons.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right, they do pizza now. And they give you a pizza cutter.
I'm sorry, you're right, they do pizza now. Best thing someone's ever said to me.
Okay, seriously, of all the things that are likely to sponsor us, I feel like Weatherspoons is not going to be one of them, Ryan. You don't have to keep plugging them.
Just because they won't return my calls don't mean they won't sponsor us.
To be fair, I'm in a group chat where like a bunch of people like beg for drinks, so I think I spend enough money. Because you know when someone's like, oh, I want a drink, it's my birthday, #begs on toast or whatever. You're like, okay, fine, I'll send you a glass of milk.
This reminds me of the time me and my mates got kicked out of our Weatherspoons about half an hour before the meetup we were supposed to be having started. Great.
How'd you get kicked out of a Weatherspoons?
A bloke who was in there with us drinking was wearing a very similar shirt and a very similar hair to a guy that had just been kicked out for getting very drunk and aggressive, and they thought he'd snuck back in again.
Oh.
So we all got kicked out and we went to the pub across the road.
And
it's because yeah.
And on that Weatherspoons note, I think we're gonna leave that tonight. Goodbye, YouTube. Hopefully the image has worked.